Okay, oh praise the Lord, oh praise the Lord. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Most God bless you all. Happy Sabbath once again. Okay, so today, like I said last night, oh praise the Lord, we made it. Okay, so we're gonna continue part 2 of last night's class. 3 unclean spirits like frogs. Part 2. Okay, I'm gonna finish the class because I had to prepare for another one. So, oh praise the Lord, Lord's will, we can be able to do that as well. All right. Let's open up with the book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 25, because that's where we left off last night. All right. Daniel 8, verse 25. Let's read it.
The book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 25.
Go ahead.
And through his policy.
And through his what?
And through his policy.
The man that the subject matter here is talking about the fourth beast. Okay. Give me that in Daniel 7. Okay. Daniel chapter 7. Read verse. Daniel 7, verse 7. Watch this.
The book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 7.
Go ahead.
After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast.
A what?
A fourth beast.
A fourth beast. Okay, Daniel is seeing a fourth beast in his vision. Come on.
Dreadful and terrible.
It was dreadful and it's terrible. Go ahead.
And strong exceeding.
Mm-hmm.
And it had great iron teeth.
It had great iron teeth, meaning this kingdom, this fourth beast, had a great military. That's what the iron teeth making reference to. Go ahead.
It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it.
Meaning those that came before it, read.
And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it.
Read.
And it had 10 horns.
The 10 horns goes into the EU. Okay. The 10 horns goes into the EU. Understand that? Give it that in Daniel 2. We're going into the fourth beast here. Okay. Daniel chapter 2. Read verse 41.
The book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 41.
Read.
And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes.
The feet and toes. Okay, come on.
Part of potter's clay. And part of iron. The kingdom.
The what?
The kingdom.
The kingdom. So this beast is the kingdom. Okay. This beast is the fourth kingdom that we read about in Daniel 7. Go ahead.
The kingdom shall be divided.
The kingdom shall be what?
The kingdom shall be divided.
Read.
But there shall be in it of the strength of iron.
There shall be in this kingdom the strength of iron. Read.
For as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay.
The iron mixed with miry clay. Because what? There's going to be a mixed multitude in this kingdom. You understand? It's going to be partly strong because of this military, and it's going to be partly weak because of the mixed multitude. The great melting pot. Go ahead.
And where?
Verse 42. Come on.
And as the toes of the feet were part of iron.
And the what?
And as the toes of the feet were part of iron.
The toes of the feet, remember it says what? It had 10 horns. The 10 horns is going into what? The toes. The 10 toes on the feet, which represents the EU, the European Union. Go ahead.
And part of clay. So the kingdom shall be partly strong.
The kingdom shall be partly strong because of his great military prowess. Read.
And partly broken.
And partly broken because of what? Because of his political and democratic system. Okay, read.
And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay.
Read.
They shall mingle themselves with the seed of men.
Meaning they're going to mingle themselves with the seed of men, the mixed multitude. Go ahead.
But they shall not cleave one to another.
They shall not cleave one to another. Read.
Even as iron is not mixed with clay.
You see that thing? Because why? Because the nations that America has destroyed all these years, they are, guess what, where they at? They are in America. What are they going to do? They're going to destroy America from within. You understand? That's why they call them what? Sleeper cells. Okay? Now, go back to Daniel chapter 8. Daniel chapter 8. Okay? Give me Daniel 7. Daniel chapter 7, read verse 24.
The book of Daniel chapter 7, verse 24.
Watch this.
And the 10 horns out of this kingdom.
The 10 horns out of this kingdom. Because these 10 horns is the 10 toes. Okay? The 10 kings in Revelation 11. Go ahead.
And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings.
10 kings. The same thing that John the Revelator says in Revelation 17. Excuse me. Go ahead.
That shall arise. And another shall arise after them.
Read.
And ye shall be diverse from the first. And ye shall subdue 3 kings.
He shall subdue 3 kings. That goes into what? The German, the German-American War, the French-American War, and the war with the Spanish-American War, and the war of independence. Okay? Go ahead.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High.
The he is the fourth kingdom. That's Rome. You understand? Because right now we're still ruled by the fourth kingdom. The fourth kingdom that was seen in the vision of our forefather Daniel is still ruling till this day. Today is called Babylon the Great. But guess what? America is Babylon the Great. Rome was the fourth kingdom, which is what? Mystic Babylon. Okay, go ahead.
And shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
They're going to wear out the saints of the Most High. They're going to wear us out where? In slavery, in captivity. Get that in Isaiah 14. It says, they shall wear out the saints of the Most High. Isaiah chapter 14, read verse 2.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 2.
Read.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
Read.
And the house of Israel shall possess them.
We're going to possess the nations that are now possessing us. Go ahead.
In the land of the Lord, for servants and handmaids.
They're going to be our slaves. Read until they are no longer needed. Go ahead.
And they shall take them captive.
We're going to take these nations captives. Go ahead.
Whose captives they were.
Because we are their captives right now. We're going to take them captive because we are their captives. That's called justice. Read.
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
We're going to rule over their oppressors. That's the gospel. We're going to rule over our oppressors. That's the gospel right there. Come on.
And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow.
The Lord is going to give us rest from our sorrow. That 1,000 years of rest, the Lord will give us the rest from our sorrow. Go ahead.
And from thy fear.
And from our fear, because now we are fearful, we're scared. We're serving the Lord with fear. Read.
And from the hard bondage.
And from the what?
And from the hard bondage.
The hard bondage. That's what it says, and he shall wear out the saints of the Most High because of the hard bondage. Read.
Wherein thou was made to serve.
Because we are made to serve hard bondage. They deal with us with rigor. You understand? That's what's been happening since they enslaved us in the 1600s, in the 1400s. You understand? Still happening till this day. Hard bondage. That's what we're going through. Okay? So, go back now. Give me Daniel now, chapter 8, verse 25 now. Now we know who's the subject. Okay? What's going on with this team? Are we good?
No, sir.
What's going on? Go please to the Most High. Okay, now give me Daniel 8. Daniel 8 verse 25. Daniel 8 verse 25. Brothers and sisters, we apologize. We had some technical issues over there, but everything is restored now. All praise to the Most High. Okay, read it. Daniel 8 verse 25.
The book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 25.
Read.
And through his policy.
And through his policy. The policy has talk about the American policy, the policy of America. Read.
Also, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand.
He's gonna cause craft to prosper in his hand. Because he uses his policies, his political policies to destroy nations. You understand? To strong arm nations to do their bidding. That's what they do. Read.
And he shall magnify himself in his heart.
He's gonna magnify himself in his heart because they are proud. Read.
And by peace.
And by what?
And by peace.
And by peace. Because they say they bring peace to a nation, but really they are bringing war. They are bringing destruction. They are gonna leave the people in an impoverished state. That's what they do. Go ahead.
And by peace.
And by what?
And by peace.
And by peace, come on.
Shall destroy men.
The peace is going into, guess what? They said we're coming for peace, in God we trust. That's what they said. But they say in gold, in oil, and in drugs that you have, we trust in that. That's the God they are talking about. You understand? Now show the people the picture. Show them the eagle. Yeah, you see that eagle right there? That's the symbol of America right there. That eagle. Okay, the big screen, why is it off? Okay, that eagle right there. You see on the right, the claw is holding the flowers and all that, and on the left you see is holding arrows. Because the right side is like we're bringing peace, but on the left, there's arrows, meaning we're coming for war. That's the point. Okay, read that verse again, verse 25. Come on.
The book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 25.
Read.
And through his policy, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand.
He's gonna cause craft to prosper in his hand. Come on.
And he shall magnify himself in his heart.
He's gonna magnify himself in his heart because, meaning what? There's none other but them. Read.
And by peace.
And by what?
And by peace.
And by peace, come on.
Shall destroy men.
They destroy many because they come in the name of democracy. They come in the name of religion, Christianity, white Jesus. That's how they come. But inwardly, guess what? I imagine how to overthrow you into a pit. Give me that in Psalms real quick. Okay. Give me the book of Psalms. Yeah, give me Psalms chapter 55, read verse 21. I want to show you this. Because what we just read in Daniel 8, King David spoke about this thing. Watch this.
The book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 21.
Read.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
You see that the words of his mouth, they are smoother than butter. That's why it says, and by peace shall destroy men. Go ahead.
But war was in his heart.
That's the key. By peace shall destroy men. He says the words of his mouth are smoother than butter, but war is in his mind. Go ahead.
His words were softer than oil. Yet were they drawn swords.
Yet were they drawn swords. It's happening in politics. They do it in Christianity. They do it in what? In economic exploitation. It's the same thing. Okay. Go back. Now give me First Maccabees 8. I just want to touch on that. I'm going to show you about these policies. Okay. That he uses policies to strong arm nations, to force them to do what he wants. Okay. First Maccabees chapter 8. Yeah, First Maccabees 8 and 1. Watch this.
First book of Maccabees, chapter 8, verse 1.
Go ahead.
Now Judah had heard of the fame of the Romans.
Judah had heard of the fame of the Romans because this is the fourth kingdom. The same kingdom that's ruling us now, called Babylon the Great, America, this is Rome. Read.
That they were mighty and valiant men. And such.
Remember it says they shall what? They shall be partly strong and partly broken. They shall have the strong of what? Of iron. That's why it says what? They were mighty and valiant men. Go ahead.
And such as would lovingly accept all that join themselves unto them.
So they accepted all those that lovingly joined themselves unto them. That's why it says our allies, our friends, overseas and things like that. That's what they are making reference to. Come on.
And make a league of amity.
They make a league of amity. That means they made friendships with these other nations. That's why now America is mad because Saudi Arabia is making deals with Iran through China. You understand? And Russia. So America is mad, is upset. They are throwing tantrums right now. Go ahead.
With all that came unto them.
And with all them that came unto them. Jump down to verse 4. Watch this.
Verse 4. And that by their policy.
By their what?
And that by their policy.
That's it right there. That's that word again. And by their policy. their policy, come on.
and patience, they had conquered all the places.
You see that thing? They use their policies to conquer everyone, to strong arm nations. You understand? To put nations in a corner. Okay? They cause a civil war in a country. They say, listen, we coming as the superheroes. But they are the same people that are causing conflict in those countries. That's why there's civil wars in what? In Sudan. There's a civil war in Sudan right now. There's two regimes that are fighting. Why are they fighting? Because the Sudanese government decided, no, we're gonna allow Russia to build a military base in what? In Sudan. America was like, no, don't make that deal. Guess what? The Sudanese, they made the deal. Now America's man is causing a civil war in Sudan. So that's what the CNN is not gonna teach you that. Sky News is not going to teach you that. CNBC will not teach you that. Why? Because they are run by the what? The America runs that media. They run that media, they've got a great mouth and they use it very effectively. You understand? So they make it seem like, no, we are bringing democracy in Sudan. No. They want to build a military base in Sudan. They wanted them to be the ones that Sudan had made a deal with. But Sudan went with Russia. So America's upset. So America, because they're upset, they decided, no, we're going to cause a civil unrest. We're going to give guns and weaponry to a militia group in Sudan to cause conflict with another group in Sudan. Then it's going to cause a civil war. Then America has to go there as superheroes and they report that, no, there's a civil unrest in Sudan because we want to build democracy, because there's a violent dictator that's ruling. That's what they say. They are all telling lies. You need to understand that. America is the great whore. They are the most wicked kingdom on earth. They are a kingdom that is full of trouble. I need you to understand that thing. Now read that verse again, verse 4.
First book of Maccabees, chapter 8, verse 4.
Read.
And that by their policy,
come on,
and patience, they had conquered all the place.
Now stop right there. Look up that video on redacted. Okay? Look up, there's a video on redacted. It goes into what I just said. On redacted. There's a video on redacted. I want you to look up that thing. There's a video on it. Redacted news. Just look up redacted news Uganda. Okay? No, Uganda, Sudan. Redacted news Sudan. Yeah, scroll up a little bit. Let me see. Yeah, so 2 days ago, I think that might be the one. Yeah, scroll up a little bit. Up. No, down. Yeah, it might be this one. Yeah, click the second video. I think that's the one I want. Just hover over it. I want to see if there's a part where there's a brother. I think this might be it. No, but open the video. Don't play it yet. Just open it on another, and just move on the scroll bar. Yeah, keep moving on the scroll bar. Some more, keep moving. Because there's a brother that is, yeah, that's it. Go back a little bit. Go back. Yeah, stop right there. Yeah, we're gonna play from there.
Destabilize. It's a
Okay, so I want you to share that with the public. So so I can show you what's really going on. Okay. Yeah, play them.
Are scary places if they're not rigidly controlled.
and we set them up. It's odd, right, that we set these things up in these countries that we destabilize. It's amazing why, Ukraine has 46 biolabs that are funded in large part by the United States government. And of course, we've tracked and trailed all of to Hunter Biden as well on this and his involvement in this. Just Jenny wrote on our YouTube page earlier today, one of our viewers, Just Jenny, and said, is it any coincidence that Sudanese rebels have taken over a biolab with the very polio viruses that Bill Gates has said will compromise the next pandemic or comprise the next pandemic?
It doesn't feel coincidental.
No.
But nothing does anymore. So, who and what were in that lab and how long have these biolabs been working with all of these other countries? We're going to get back to that in a minute. But first, a little bit about this conflict. Here is Kenyan writer and activist David John Bwakali. He boils what the bleep is happening in already said. Doesn't need dramatic music. It's
involvement in this. Just Jenny wrote on our YouTube page earlier today, one of our viewers, Just Jenny, and said, is it any coincidence that Sudanese rebels have taken over a biolab with the very polio viruses that Bill Gates has said will compromise the next pandemic or comprise the next pandemic?
It doesn't feel coincidental.
No.
But nothing does anymore. So, who and what were in that lab and how long have these biolabs been working with all of these other countries? We're going to get back to that in a minute. But first, a little bit about this conflict. Here is Kenyan writer and activist David John Bwakali. He boils down the conflict, I think, far better than I could. So I'm going to leave it to him to explain exactly what's going on in Sudan right now.
Here is why you should care about the fighting that is going on in Sudan. What's happening there is more than meets the eye. And it's time for the world to discuss the actual truth of what is going on there. America and Russia are at it again, just as they did 60 years ago during the Cold War, when they fought proxy wars right here in Africa, leading to the death of thousands of innocent Africans. They are at it again in Sudan, fighting a proxy war. Let me explain. Two factions of the Sudanese military are fighting each other. One of them is led by Lieutenant General Mohammed Hamdan, head of the paramilitary group known as Rapid Support Forces. The other faction is led by the Sudanese Army Chief, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan. So why are they fighting? This is where Russia and USA come into the picture. You see, in the last couple of months, Russia has finalized a deal with Sudan to establish Russia's naval base in Sudan's Red Sea coast. America is not too happy with that. Actually, they're furious. America's ambassador to Sudan, John Godfrey, expressly warned Sudan not to seal that deal with Russia, but they're going ahead and doing just that. And so when the paramilitary unit began fighting the other faction of the army, that wasn't happening in a vacuum. The big problem is that you're not going to hear this in the mainstream media. Neither are you going to hear a lot of African governments voicing this, which is very unfortunate because Africa must learn to speak its truth and stand on this truth, because truth will set you free. So it is left to the African people, we the African people, to speak this truth and tell America and Russia to get off Africa, to get their hands off Africa. The days of the Cold War, the days of the shenanigans of the Cold War are completely over, and they cannot fight proxy wars in Africa at the expense of innocent African lives. That has to stop. The fighting in Sudan must stop. The puppet masters must stop their evil, diabolic games.
Okay, that's it on there. So that's what's going on in Sudan. So they're not going to tell you about this thing. Because why? Media propaganda machine is on lockdown. You understand? So that's why many of our people have no idea what's going on in Sudan. They think, no, America is bringing peace and democracy over there. No. First Maccabees 8 verse 4 again.
First book of Maccabees, chapter 8, verse 4.
Read.
And that by their policy and patience they had conquered all the places.
Okay, hold on. What's going on with this thing? Okay. So, but the people can hear us. Okay, come on. Read that again.
First book of Maccabees, chapter 8, verse 4.
Read.
And that by their policy.
And but that by their policy. Come on. Because that's America's policy over there in Sudan. You understand? So they are fighting that proxy war again. Go ahead.
And patience. They had conquered all the place.
They've conquered all the place. Because when through their policy, they conquer. You understand? So if democracy doesn't work, guess what they bring? They bring economic hitmen. If the economic hitmen don't work, they bring in the military to destroy. That's what happened in Iraq. Okay, go ahead.
Though it was very far from them, and the kings also that came against them from the uttermost part of the earth, till they had discomfited them.
You see that any nation that comes against America, they get discomfited. Rome did it, America is doing the same thing. Because this is the same kingdom. The same kingdom back then, the fourth kingdom, is the same fourth kingdom today. Okay, go ahead.
And give them a great overthrow.
And give the other nations a great overthrow. They put sanctions upon them. They put embargoes on them. They cannot trade with other countries, and they starve the country from within and cause a civil unrest. They cause a civil war. That's the same thing that happened here in South Africa, by the way. That looting that happened in July and all that, no, that was not an accident. You understand? That was the work of an economic hitman. Understand that? Really?
So that the rest did give them tribute every year.
You see that? That's called colonial tax. So Rome, when it conquered, the people had to pay them for conquering them. So America is doing the same thing today. Because today, guess what? We were conquered by what? The Dutch and the British. We're still paying colonial tax to them unto this day. We're still doing that. Are we good with the steam runs?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what's going on? Do we need to switch up the cameras?
So I'm not sure what's going on actually.
Okay, so mute me. Okay. Once again, brothers and sisters online, bear with us, okay? We're having some technical issues, all right? So bear with us, okay? Where were we at? First Maccabees 8. Read verse 4, one more again for me.
First book of Maccabees, chapter 8, verse 4.
Read.
And that by their policy and patience they had conquered all the place.
You see that by their policy and patience, they had conquered all the place. Read.
Though it were very far from them.
Even though the nations were very far from them, but they had a long reach. America has a long reach. They rule all nations on earth. Even though they might not be there, but they have a powerful influence over there. Go ahead.
And the kings also that came against them.
The kings that come, the nations that came against America, what happened? Guess what? They displaced them. They discomfited them. Okay, read.
From the uttermost part of the earth. Till they had discomfited them.
Read.
And given them a great overthrow.
You see that they give them the great overthrow. Read on.
So that the rest did give them tribute every year.
You see that? So after the America conquers all these nations, America still forced these nations to pay them colonial tax. We still pay colonial tax until this day. That's why Ramaphosa, when he came into office, not into power because he has no power. When he came into office to occupy that seat, guess what? He was forced to increase the VAT so that the colonial masters can be happy. Okay? Yeah, because that's what they do. Understand? Jump down to verse 13 now.
First book of Maccabees, chapter 8, verse 13.
Read verse 12 actually. Start at verse 11.
First book of Maccabees, chapter 8, verse 11.
Watch this. Because of their policies. This is what happens this is what they do with their policies. Go ahead.
It was told him besides how they destroyed and brought under their dominion all other kingdoms.
You see that? They brought under their dominion all other kingdoms. That's what America is doing. We are reading the blueprint of the fourth kingdom that will rule in the fourth part of the earth. Read.
And isles that at any time resisted them.
You see that? So whoever resists America, guess what? They're going to suffer the consequences of that. Because what did Washington do? Washington said, because I saw it was a White House briefing where they were asking, so what are you going to do should the anti-gay bill pass in Uganda? They said no. The one reporter asked, one of the White House correspondent, he said, is the U.S. gonna implement some kind of sanctions? That's what he asked. He said, if it will come to that, yeah, we will do it. Okay, go ahead.
But with their friends and such as relied upon them.
And with their friends and such as relied upon them, like South Africa, for instance. Really?
They kept amity.
They kept friendships because South Africa is completely wholly given to America and the EU. Really?
And that they had conquered kingdoms, both far and nigh.
You see that they have conquered kingdoms both far and nigh. They've got a long arm. They've got a long reach. Even if America is not there, but they've got their corporations here in South Africa. Apparently they've got what? Is it 60,000 companies, 60 companies, or 600 companies in South Africa alone? 600. 600 American companies in South Africa alone. 600. You understand? They are the ones that are taking over the current businesses in South Africa because now they want to privatize Eskom. That's the work of the economic hitman. Really?
But with their friends and such as relied upon them, they kept amity.
They kept friendships with
that they had conquered kingdoms, both far and nigh.
You see that they conquered kingdoms both far and nigh. Go ahead.
In so much as all that had heard of their name were afraid.
You see that whenever they hear the name of America, they get afraid. Really?
Also they, whom they would help to a kingdom, those reigned.
You see that? So whoever they would help to a kingdom, they rule. So whatever president, guess what? They wanted to get rid of Msholozi. They did it. They wanted to get rid of Thabo. They did it. They wanted to put up Tumamina, Cyril Ramaphosa. They put him up. Whom they would help to a kingdom, those reigned. That's why Ramaphosa is sitting in that seat. It's not because of your vote, South Africans. You so-called South Africans, you think the reason why Ramaphosa is in office is because of your vote. Your vote told me nothing. You understand? We reading the real reason why he's in office is because of what? America. It's because of the EU, the 10 kings that support America. They are the ones that make sure that Ramaphosa is sitting in that seat. That's what you don't understand. Really?
And whom again they display.
You see that if they don't like you, they displace you. Look at Juvenal Moise. What happened to him? They killed him. Our brother from Haiti, the president of Haiti, they displaced him because they didn't like that brother. What happened to the previous president? Look at Chavez. They put him to death. You understand? Because they got involved in what? They got involved in helping the Congo. That's why. So they are paying for that. They are paying for that crime. Go ahead, and it wasn't a crime. They were helping their brother. They said, no. We are going to displace you instead. Go ahead.
Yet, for all this.
And another thing is, other African leaders, so-called African leaders, because they have been put in a corner. What Ramaphosa, they don't want to say nothing about the sanctions that are imposed on Zimbabwe. They don't want to say anything about what's happening in Namibia. You see, their man is the word, what's happening in Uganda, in Sudan. They're saying nothing. They should say, listen, what happened in Haiti with Juvenal Moise? What did Ramaphosa say? Nothing. Mom was the word. What did Julius Malema say? Nothing. What did they say? They said nothing about what happened to Juvenal Moise. Really?
Yet for all this, none of them were a crown.
You see that? None of them wears a crown. Because if you're a crown, you are a king. So America's not going to allow that. If you wear a crown, that means you are independent. You're autonomous. America don't want that. Really?
Or was clothed in purple to be magnified thereby.
Or clothed in purple, because purple is a royal color. So he says they are not clothed, meaning what? They are not magnified in any way. Really?
Moreover, how they had made for themselves a Senate house.
A Senate house, that's parliament. A Senate house, that's parliament. That's why today you see in America, you see they are sitting in parliament all day. You see in South Africa, they are sitting in parliament all day, saying, Madam Speaker, honorable this, honorable that. Really?
Wherein 320 men sat in council daily.
They said they sit in council daily doing what?
Consulting always for the people.
They were there. Whoa. They are doing what?
Consulting.
Doing what?
Consulting.
Hold that. Go back to Psalms 83. You see, they are consulting always for the people. Let's see how they consult for the people. Psalms 83, read verse 4. Watch this. Now start verse 3.
The book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 3.
Watch this.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
In parliament, that's how they take crafty counsel against God's people. And they do it on live television. They have no shame, they don't even hide it anymore. Go ahead.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
You see, and consulted. That's why it says consulting always for the people. They consulted together with one consent. Come on.
They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation.
Let us cut the 12 tribes of Israel from being a nation. Because that's their job, to maintain how they destroy the 12 tribes of Israel. Go ahead.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Go ahead.
But they have consulted together with one consent.
You see that? They consult together with one consent. You need to walk around. They consult together with one consent. Come on.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against the Lord and against God's people. Go back to 1 Maccabees 8. 1 Maccabees chapter 8. Okay, read verse 15. One more again.
First book of Maccabees, chapter 8, verse 15.
Go ahead.
Moreover, how they had made for themselves a senate house.
They made for themselves a senate house. That's parliament. Come on.
Wherein 320 men sat in council daily.
They sat in council. They sit in council daily. Read.
Consulting.
Doing what?
Consult.
You see that they consult together with one consent to destroy us. Read.
Always for the people.
Always for the people, the masses, particularly the 12 tribes of Israel. Go ahead.
To the end, they might be well ordered.
You see that to the end, they might be well ordered, meaning what? Brainwashed, indoctrinated, downtrodden, kept impoverished, at the bottom, poor education, poor medical health, poor living conditions, poor everything. Be kept a slave. That's what they do. Read.
And that they were committed, and that they committed their own government.
No, read that right. Read it slow. Verse 16, one more again.
First book of Maccabees, chapter 8, verse 16. And that they committed their government to one man every year.
You see, they commit to their government one man every year. We do it every 4 years. That's why now, 2024, you see, abattoir, because they have an unclean demon on them. Really?
Who ruled over all their countries.
You say, who ruled over all their countries? Because America ruled over all countries on earth. Really?
And that all were obedient to that one.
You see that? And all were obedient to that one. Now when the other nations that are trying to come out of America's claws, America is upset now. America's throwing tantrums now. That's what's happening in Sudan right now. Really?
And that there was neither envy nor emulation among them.
You know why there was no envy and emulation among them? Because America was that powerful and formidable empire that's sitting on top of them. The same thing that Antiochus did, that's what America is doing right now. Really?
In consideration of these things.
Okay, jump down to verse 18. Watch this.
Verse 18. And to entreat them that they would take the yoke from them. For they saw that the kingdom of the Grecians did oppress Israel with servitude.
You see that the Greeks were oppressing Israel with servitude. That's why Judah Maccabee, he made a treaty, you understand, with the Roman Republic in 161 BC. But that didn't last long, you understand? Really?
They went therefore to Rome, which was a very great journey, and came into the Senate, where they spake and said.
Now they spake to the Romans, read.
Judah Maccabee with his brethren, and the people of the Jews have sent us unto you to make a confederacy and peace with you, and that we might be registered your confederates and friends.
You see, this is 161 BC. Go ahead.
So that matter pleased the Romans well. And this is the copy of the epistle which the Senate wrote back again in tables of brass and sent to Jerusalem. And there they might have by them a memorial of peace and confidence.
So what the treaty that the Romans did with our forefathers, Judah Maccabee, guess what? It was completely misused by the scribes and Pharisees during the time of Rome, when Greece was completely swallowed by the Romans. You understand? And I'll prove that. Because that's what you are seeing right now. Watch this. Give me that in John, okay? John chapter 11, verse 46. Watch this. John 11, verse 46. Watch this thing right here. Come on.
The book of John, chapter 11, verse 46.
Read.
But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them about things Jesus had done.
Because this is when Christ walked the earth now. Now he was doing many miracles, healing the people and teaching the people the word of God. Read.
Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council.
You see that? So they are doing the complete opposite of what Judah Maccabee has set up. They are doing the complete opposite. Read.
And said, what do we? For this man doeth many miracles. If we let him thus alone,
leave him alone,
all men will believe on him.
Go ahead.
And the Roman.
And the what?
And the Roman.
Now this is under the Roman Empire. Go ahead.
Shall come and take away both our place and nation.
You see that? Because guess what? What the treaty that they made, you can see where it changed over time. The treaty that they made, it changed over time. Because it got to a point where they started to do the bidding of Rome. They started to do the bidding for Rome and to despise and neglect their own people. That's what the scribes and Pharisees was doing. So they hated their own nation. That's what happened here. Understand it? Okay? So now, go back to Daniel. Daniel 8 verse 25. Because with their policy, they strong-arm nations to agree and accept their demonic policies. One of those policies that is happening right now currently is the homosexual LGBT bill that the other African nations, they are saying, we're not going to take that. We don't want that. They sent Kamala Harris because she looked like she's a black woman. No, that's an Indian woman. She's an Elamite. Okay? They are sending her to Ghana to convince the people of Ghana to accept that. Obama, they sent Obama because when Obama was in office, they sent Obama to Kenya to convince the people of Kenya to accept that. The Kenyans said, no, we're not taking that. They sent him to Ghana also, they said no. They sent him to Uganda, he said no. They are refusing. He came here to South Africa, he had a ball here. Why? Because we have accepted that already. Read that what you got.
The book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 25.
Read.
And through his policy.
And through his policy, come on.
Also, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand.
The craft is the what? Is the secret plots. The instruments that are evil. Read.
And he shall magnify himself in his heart.
He's going to magnify himself in his heart. Come on.
And by peace.
And by what?
And by peace.
The peace is what? There's no peace. The peace is what? We bring in democracy into your country. That's what's happening in Sudan. Read.
And by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes.
Meaning that's Christ and his people. Come on.
But he shall be broken without hand.
He's going to be destroyed. Now, play that video now. I'm going to show you how they try to strong arm the president of Zambia. Not this one. The other one. Yeah, that one right there. Yeah, the Zambian president. Okay, blow it up big. I want the people to see this thing. Okay.
Zambia is a religion. Zambia is a religious conservative country. And it has some of the toughest anti-homosexual laws in Africa. Many in this congregation are avid supporters of their president's stand against gay rights and appalled at the American diplomatic intervention. And the Zambian leader was unequivocal about his stand on the issue when he spoke to us.
We are saying no to homosexuality. Why should you say we're going to be civilized if we only allow it? Are you saying we are very primitive now because we are frowning upon homosexuality? Even animals don't do it. Why should we be forced to do it because we want to be seen to be smart, to be seen to be civilized and advanced and so on?
The row blew up after two men seen here with their lawyer were jailed for 15 years for taking part in what's known in the country as a crime against the order of nature, the legal term in Zambia for gay sex.
When the president doesn't want to hear what I have to say, he gets all the attacks.
America's top diplomat in Zambia, in the light suit, appears to have had a cordial...
You see, that right there, that's an economic hitman. They call him a diplomat. Okay? You see, they are using politically correct terms, so you don't suspect why he's here. He's here to strong arm the Zambian president. That's what he's here for. Okay, go ahead.
Relationship with the Zambian leader up until now. Here he's being shown around the State House gardens in Lusaka. But the US diplomat said he was personally horrified at the jailing. And in an uncharacteristically tough statement for a diplomat, the ambassador lambasted the government for corruption, said poachers got lighter sentences, and went on. Decisions like this oppressive sentencing do untold damage to Zambia's international reputation by demonstrating.
It says what Zambia is doing, it says what? It says these sentences do untold damage to Zambia's international reputation. You know what that means? This is code word to say, we're not gonna fund you. We're not gonna give you aid. We're gonna put sanctions on you. We're gonna have embargoes, we're gonna put embargoes on you. Read? Play on.
Demonstrating that human rights in Zambia is not a universal guarantee.
Hi, I'm Dan Foote, the new United States Ambassador to the Republic of Zambia.
It's all...
You see that? So this guy, he's an economic hitman. He's an economic hitman. And the people that he works with is the corporations that are in Zambia that are American companies in Zambia. Their job is to make sure to destabilize the economy down there. Read, play on.
So different from the American ambassador's welcoming video on taking up his post in Zambia.
More importantly, we can't wait to engage with the people of the country.
That's it right there. Because they went to the president says, hell no. So now he's saying, we cannot wait to engage with the people. Meaning what? Go to the civilians. Again, the leader does not agree. Deal with the flock there. Go ahead.
Wait to engage with the people of the country.
The US is a big aid donor to Zambia, but the Zambian president said no amount of money could make him change his mind on homosexuality.
That's a beautiful stuff right there. Let's give the brother a hand, man. That's beautiful right there. It is no amount of money is going to change my stance on gay rights, okay? Play on.
Sexuality.
A retraction or apology would do, but I don't know, to be honest with you, how far this matter will go. Because already you're tying it to aid.
You see, it says, but I don't know how deep this thing will go. But when you tie it to aid, you see what they are doing? They are tying, or listen, agree to this, we'll give you aid. Remember, in the video they mentioned like America is putting a lot of aid to Zambia. So now, you see they are bringing the aid. So that's a threat. They are threatening him to say, listen, if you don't accept this, we're not going to give you aid. Okay? Play on.
Make him change his mind on homosexuality.
A retraction or apology would do, but I don't know, to be honest with you, how far this matter will go. Because already you're tying it to aid. If that is how you're going to bring your aids, then I'm afraid the Western can leave us alone in our poverty, and we will continue scrounging and struggling and see how we can get going.
The president...
Pause. That's beautiful. Is that, listen, it's fine, we'll be poor. But we don't want that here. Don't bring that filth up in here. Don't bring those policies. You see what they're doing? Go read Daniel 8:25 again.
The book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 25.
Read.
And through his policy, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand.
You see that? Through his policy, he will cause craft. What is the craft? Homosexuality. We give you aid, accept this. We give you protection and guns and weaponry, accept this, accept that. That's what they are pushing. We're going to bring feminism into your country. Okay? We're going to bring that women can dress however they want in your country. That's what's happening in Iran. You understand? Go ahead.
And he shall magnify himself in his heart.
He's going to magnify himself in his heart through his aid. Read.
And by peace.
And by what?
And by peace.
No, we're gonna improve the economic stance of your country. Just accept this bill and we're gonna improve your way of life. Because you see your people are struggling, your people are suffering, your people are in poverty, there's no jobs, the economy is bad. So they blackmail you. They list all the problems. The question is, how do they have such a detailed account of your problems? Because they are the ones that created them. That's why they can list them so nicely, because they created the problems and they are coming to list them to you to say, oh, that means they done research, they care about us. No. They're the ones that created the problems and they come as the superheroes. Read.
And by peace shall destroy many.
And by peace shall destroy many. That's why the Zambian president said, listen, if you are going to give us aid for us to accept this, then keep your aid. We're going to continue in our poverty, we'll be all right. So that's a good mindset. If all the African presidents could do that, can think like that, you know what's going to happen? That means they will be able to come together and use the raw materials that we know we produce and get to, guess what? Manufacture. Do manufacturing. Right now, they don't want us to manufacture nothing. They just want us to be producers of raw materials, and that's it. That's some evil stuff. Doesn't mean we cannot manufacture. Of course we can. But guess what? That's what they teach our people even in the schools, that you cannot manufacture. You need this. Right now, what's happening with ESCOM? They say, no, we need a generator from Germany. Why do we need to go all the way to Germany to get a generator? The Germans listen, Germany is having their own electricity problems. How are they going to give us a generator to produce electricity when they depend on Russia for that? They depend on Russia. And because they're dependent on Russia, what happened to the Nord Stream pipeline? They blew it up. They blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. Now, on that note, where did I want to go? By the way, we don't agree with that they are jailing the homosexuals. We don't agree with that. There's a solution in the Bible, 2 Ezra 7:36. Because I know how the white man thinks. He said, you see what they said? Yeah, so that means they must be jailed, they must be put to death. No, we're not advocating for that. We don't agree with that. What we do agree with that is that do not strong arm our African leaders to what? To push evil in their countries. Okay? But to solve the homosexuality problem, this is how you solve it. Read that.
Second book of Ezra, chapter 7, verse 36.
Read.
Then said I, Abraham prayed first for the Sodomites.
You see what our forefather Abraham did? So we are walking up to the footsteps of our forefather Abraham. He prayed first for the what? For the Sodomites. That's our prayer. We pray that our people may repent and come out of that anti-lifestyle. Because that's not a lifestyle. You cannot be fruitful and multiply in that life, in that behavior. Because men and men getting married, that's not a marriage in the sight of God. A marriage is between man and woman. So there's no such thing as a gay marriage. No. They're just in the midst of lust. That's it. There's no such thing as a lesbian marriage. They are in the midst of lust because they violate the laws of marriage. It's that simple. Okay? Read.
Then said I, Abraham prayed first for the Sodomites, and Moses for the fathers that sinned in the wilderness.
You see that? So now I'm going to show you something, right? Give me the video. Go to Redacted. Okay? It talks about Redacted. There's a video of a brother. He was criticizing the New York Times for their media propaganda. Okay? It's quite recent. Scroll down. Yeah, that's it right there. That one. You see that? Yeah, that's it right there. Yeah, click that. I like this brother. I think he might be, I think it's Ephraim or, yeah, I think it's Ephraim. Okay? But I'm going to show you something. Give me the book of Revelation chapter 13. Because this white man has a mouth. That's why today our people don't understand what's happening in Sudan. It's because of this. Watch this. Revelation chapter 13. Read verse 4. Watch this.
The book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 4.
Watch this.
And they worship the dragon.
They worship the dragon. The same dragon that had what? Out of the mouth of the dragon where the unclean spirit came out of. Read.
Which gave power unto the beast.
Which gave power unto the beast. The dragon is Satan. The spiritual demon Satan is the reason why the white man has everything that he has. Is the reason why the white man is on top of all nations, because they worship the devil. Read.
Because they worship the beast.
Because they what?
Because. And they worship the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast?
Who's like unto the beast? The beast is America. Because America, the EU, the entire Caucasian region, they worship Satan. That's why they're able to have what they have. That's why they're able to go to space. That's why they're able to land on the moon. That's why they're able to they sent 2 rovers to Mars. That's why Elon Musk is blowing up like the World Trade. Yes, because why? Because they worship the atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. Go ahead.
And there was given unto him a mouth.
You see, there was given unto him a what?
A mouth.
A what?
A mouth.
You see, there was given unto him a mouth. The media. You see, the white man has the power of the media behind him, and he uses it very well, very effectively. Okay, come on.
Speaking great things.
They speak great things using the media. They speak evil of us. They speak evil of the Lord. They speak evil of God's people. They speak evil of the angels. They portray demonic images. They say, no, the angels are white. It's naked white babies with wings. Really?
And blasphemies.
And what?
And blasphemies.
The blasphemies is going into the Christian church. The false prophet. Really?
And power was given unto him to continue 42 months.
360. Go ahead.
And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God.
They blaspheme God in the churches, come on.
To blaspheme his name.
They blaspheme his name, that's why they say what? They say no, they are God now on earth. Really?
And his tabernacle.
Mm-hmm.
And them that dwell in heaven.
And them that dwell in heaven. That's the angels in them. The Most High God, Christ in them. That's how they blaspheme. Now, play the video. This man was given a great mouth to speak evil things. Play that video. Watch this.
Well, a video has gone viral from Jose Vega. He confronted the editors of the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Los Angeles Times, and Reuters before being thrown to the ground by the dean of Columbia University.
So bad that they even threw the brother on the ground. They were holding him down and threw him out. And I think it's at the university. They invited the editor of the New York Times. Okay, the Daily Mail, whatever they call them. Guess what? This is what he had to say. Watch this.
Before being thrown to the ground by the dean of Columbia University, thrown to the floor for asking tough questions about the Nord Stream pipeline, Seymour Hersh, about journalism in general, and why these newspapers are refusing to cover one of the biggest stories of the last century. Watch this video.
One with Seymour Hersh because it's a policy and press hall event, so shouldn't we be talking about the Nord Stream since that's the biggest story of the century? And you guys, you know, I mean, you have the executive editor of the New York Times there who came out with a phony story to try and block Seymour Hersh. It's just kind of funny how that happened, you know? I mean, did you even acknowledge Seymour Hersh? All of you are executive editors of papers that broke Pentagon, My Lai, Watergate. Is this the same papers or not? I mean, is there anything you've gotten right in the last 20 years, or am I mistaken about that? I mean, it's just kind of funny because Iraq, wrong. Syria, wrong. Russiagate, really wrong. Okay, I mean, the list goes on and on. So the last thing you could do to try and actually fix your reputation is acknowledge that through leaks, we had to find out that Zelensky was going to bomb Moscow on the anniversary. I mean, if you're so impartial, shouldn't you at least say, right, that Zelensky was going to bring us on the verge of World War III? That seems pretty fair. While Julian Assange rots in prison, all of you got, you know, fat checks because he's in jail for doing your job. And you know what? Tucker Carlson ain't no Seymour Hersh, but he did something you guys are scared to do. Speak the truth and actually be critical of the war, which is why he was actually fired from Fox, because you are all cowards, every single one of you. None of you have actually had any relevancy. And you know what? The mainstream press is now dying. Nobody's ever going to listen to you again. You have no credibility with the public. The only people who care about what you have to say are elite assholes who have nothing productive to say anymore, and it's dying off. So will you at least say something, either about Nord Stream or Ukraine or the fact that Zelensky brought us to the verge of World War III, and the only reason we knew about that was through leaks? Go ahead. It's a free speech event, right? You guys are the press. Let's say something here. Mr. Khan, come on. You know, you're the executive editor of the New York Times, you know. I'm just trying to get into some good trouble here, man. Woo. Listen, Karen, get out of my face for a second. I got to talk to these gentlemen. Okay. Well, I just want to hear what they have to say. Go ahead, I'm done.
Wait your turn. Wait your turn.
You're not going to tell them to you. Come.
Wait your turn.
You could project if we can't.
I would just say I think it's important to hear everybody's point of view.
Yeah.
So thank you.
All right.
I do think that we need to give our moderator a chance to ask other questions.
We're on the verge of World War III.
Some of the people in the audience also do so. Thank you. Really, thank you.
Say something about this bombing. We blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. Listen, don't stand there while there are people rotting in prison. Nobody said anything about Uhuru, right? The socialists who are in jail for being critical of this war. God damn it.
That's it. Let's go. Let's go.
At least say something about the people in jail for being critical of this war. They don't deserve to be in prison right now.
So of course.
So that's it on that. So, but I'm showing you, you see they're making him look like he's crazy. No, the brother's not crazy. He's completely lucid and is of a sound mind. And everybody in there, guess what? They're just riding on the propaganda train. I told you, brothers, watch the news. See what's going on in the world. Don't be a sleepist. Okay? That's why it says watch as well as pray. Get off the Atlanta housewives and stop watching porn on YouTube and stop watching Rihanna twerking on TikTok. Stop watching them. Watch the news. See what's going on in the nation. Okay. Now, give me that in 1 Ezra 5 verse 72. Watch this. 1 Ezra chapter 5 verse 72. Watch this thing. Because they got a mouth and they use it very, very effectively. Okay? Look at that. Because when you look at the e-news, like ENCA, they're just pushing propaganda. They're not reporting anything significant. You understand? You mean to tell me, Uri, the thing that happened with Chavo Besta is the greatest news that you can report? Every time when you switch on the news, that's what you hear. That's what you see. Is that the only thing they can report? No. But that's the only thing they are covering. That's supposed to tell you something, right? Now read them. 1 Ezra 5 verse 72. Come on.
First book of Ezra, chapter 5, verse 72.
Read.
But the heathen of the land, laying heavy upon the inhabitants of Judah.
Of Judea, come on.
Of Judea, and holding them straight, hindered their building.
They always want to stop us from rebuilding our nation back up. And they use our people that look like us to stop us from building. You had it during the time of the Greeks. You had it during the time of Rome. You had it during the time of Persia. You had it during the time of... Because during the time of Persia, we wanted to go back and rebuild. You understand? You always had opposition. Read.
And by their secret plots.
And by their secret plots, come on.
And popular persuasion.
The popular persuasion is the great mouth that they've been given. The media. They use the media very well to push propaganda. Come on.
And commotion. They hindered the finishing of the building.
They stopped the finishing of the building. Come on.
All the time that King Cyrus lived.
Reign.
So they were hindered from building for the space of 2 years until the reign of David.
You see that? So what I'm showing you is you had it back then, you have it today. And today, I mean, it's on the world stage. They're using it effectively. They've got Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You understand? They've got Twitter. They've got CNN. They've got CNBC. They've got, there's different channels online you can watch. They're all pushing garbage. Okay? It's only a few channels that they can, okay, they're saying something here. But for the most part, they're just pushing garbage out. Okay? So, yeah. Now play the next video. Of Umsevi. Okay? You can remove that. Yeah, this one. Now, yeah, before you show it to the people, make sure it's the screen is a full screen. Okay? Make sure it's a full screen. I want the people to see a full screen. Is this full screen correct?
It's awesome.
Yeah, like this. Yeah, that's better. I don't want to see the other stuff. This is proper. Okay, now play that now. The reason why I showed you the one of Zambia first, I showed you the one of Zambia to show you what they use. They use their policies to strong arm the nations. So now what's happening here is It's escalating here. Watch this.
Your message to Western human rights groups, to President Obama,
respect,
to lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people.
Respect African societies and their values.
Move it back because it is accompanying quite low. Okay, play.
What is your message to Western human rights groups, to President Obama,
respect,
to lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people?
Respect African societies and their values. If you don't agree, you just keep quiet. Let's manage our society the way we see. If we are wrong, we shall find out by ourselves.
Pause. That's beautiful right there. If we are wrong, we'll find out by ourselves. But if, listen, it says just keep quiet. Oh, praises. Pray.
The way we see. If we are wrong, we shall find out by ourselves. Just the way we don't interfere with yours.
Do you personally dislike homosexuals?
Of course, they are disgusting.
Our people, they have no plates. They just take like it is. You understand? Keep praying.
What sort of people are they? How can you go? I never knew what they were doing. That's how I've been told recently that what they do is terrible, disgusting. But I was ready to ignore that if there was proof that that's how he's born, abnormal. But now the proof is not there.
You see, Caucasian News Network. But what you need to understand is that you see what's happening here. They want to, or not like they even have this clip to say no. The Ugandan president says homosexuals are disgusting. But let's hear what the Bible says. Okay, give me that in Leviticus 18. Leviticus chapter 18. Give me Leviticus chapter 18. Read verse. Yeah. Verse 22. Read that.
The book of Leviticus chapter 18 verse 22.
Read.
Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind.
Mm-hmm.
It is abomination.
He says, don't lie with mankind as with womankind. It is abomination. Get the definition of abomination. Excuse me. Let's get the definition of abomination. Okay? Because we're using biblical words here. Let's see what the Moses has to say. Okay? Yeah, now read that.
Definition of abomination.
Read.
A thing that causes disgust or loathing.
You see that? So, Museveni is completely biblical if we have to be completely true. We are being biblical right now. He's being biblical. So, we basically reading what the Bible says. Read that part again, the definition of abomination.
The definition of abomination.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a thing that causes disgust or loathing.
You see that? We don't hate our brothers and sisters that are in that life, but they must repent. We don't agree with the way they live. They must live according to what does say the law. You understand? So they must repent. They must repent from that lifestyle. Okay? So, give me Romans 1 verse 26, because they're going to say, I know how a Christian think. I know how the white man thinks. They're going to say, but that's the Old Testament. Watch this. Because we always going to have the white man's bulldog, the black woman. Okay? Yeah. Romans chapter 1. Because listen, I know right now the white man's lieutenant is online. The white man's lieutenant, the black woman, in the Christian church. You understand? They're going to say, no, but that's the Old Testament. In Jesus loves you no matter what. Let's hear what Jesus has to say. You understand? Because, hold on, give me 1 Corinthians chapter 14. Because they're going to say, no, but there's the Apostle Paul. Yeah, I know you're going to go right to the Apostle Paul. Let's read what the Apostle Paul said there. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, read verse 37.
First Book of Corinthians, chapter 14, verse 37.
Watch what it says here. Come on.
If any man think himself to be a prophet,
If any man think himself to be a prophet and wash with the blood of Jesus, go ahead.
or spiritual,
Because they say, no, I'm a spiritual being. Okay, go ahead.
let him acknowledge.
This is what you must acknowledge, what the Apostle Paul wrote. Read.
That the things that I write unto you are the commandments of the Lord.
They are what?
Are the commandments of the Lord.
The things that the Apostle Paul wrote are the commandments of the Lord. It's not because the Apostle Paul was doing something completely different from what Christ taught. Now, Romans 1, verse 25.
The book of Romans, chapter 1, verse 25.
Watch this.
Who changed the truth of God into a lie?
Who changed the laws of God into a lie? Well, how do they change the laws of God into a lie? They say the laws of God are done away with. That's what they push in the Christian church. Read.
And worship and serve the creature.
And worship and serve the creature. Read.
More than the Creator.
They don't serve the Lord. Read.
Who is blessed forever. Amen.
Amen to that. Go ahead.
For this cause.
Because of this, because they worship the creature more than the Creator, the creature, they worship the creation. They worship themselves. That's why they do this transformation surgery. Men become women, women become men. They say no, because that's how I feel. Because the gender that was given to me at birth is not the gender that is actually my actual gender. That's my gender, because gender is a social construct. That's what they say. Read.
God gave them up unto vile affection.
You see what? You see that? Because they are liberals. Remember what we read in Isaiah? Go back to Isaiah 32 verse 5. It says, because they worship the creature more than the Creator, it says, God has given them up unto vile affections. Vile affections is disgusting affections. Now get the definition of vile. I think I might have sent it. Now read it.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 32, verse 5.
Watch this.
The vile person.
The what?
The vile person.
The vile person. What is the vile person? The abominable person. Vile is abominable. The abominable person is the vile person. Come on.
Shall be no more called Libra.
Read.
Nor the child said to be bound.
Now read the definition of vile now. Let's read the definition of vile. Because the Lord says He's given them up unto vile affections. Okay, come on.
Definition of vile. Adjective. Extremely unpleasant.
Extremely unpleasant. Okay, go ahead. Next definition.
Morally bad.
Because homosexuality is morally bad. It's against God. Go ahead.
Wicked.
Wicked. Now read the synonyms.
Similar. Foul. Nasty.
What?
Nasty.
Now go to the second row. Read the second row.
Dreadful. Abominable.
What?
Abominable.
There it is. So the vile person is the abominable person. It says it is abomination. It's the same thing we read in Leviticus 18 verse 22. Go back to Romans 1 verse 26 again. Yeah, we read in the New Testament now. Okay, not my Jesus. Yes, your Jesus, the black Messiah. Read it.
The book of Romans, chapter 1 verse 26.
Read.
For this cause, God gave them up unto vile affections.
God has given them up unto vile affections, abominable affections. Go ahead.
For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature.
You see, this is the women have changed their natural use. What is a woman's natural use? To give birth to children, to fall pregnant, be a mother. That is the woman's natural use. Read.
And likewise, also the men.
The men now also, they have also changed their natural use. Go ahead.
Leaving the natural use of the woman.
Meaning now the men have left the natural use of the woman. Because men and women have sex, children are born. That's how we become what? Fruitful and we multiply. A man and a man cannot be fruitful, nor can they multiply. A woman and a woman cannot be fruitful, nor can they multiply. That cannot happen. Read.
Bent in their lust.
Now that's the key right there. He's telling you they are bent in their lust. The reason why they're dealing with one another is because of lust. It's not because of love. Because that's what Obama said when he was having a debate with the Kenyan president. He says, no, but they pay tax, they don't steal, they love each other. No, it's not love, it's lust. Read.
burned in their lust.
They are burned in their lust. Come on.
One to one another.
One to one another. Come on.
Man with man. Working that which is unseemly.
Working that which is unseemly. Get the definition of unseemly. He says, man with man, working that which is unseemly. We read in Bible, okay? We're going to read the Bible. You don't like the Bible? Well, you're in the wrong place. You're watching the wrong show. You're watching the wrong class. Okay, this is the good news. Read what you got.
Definition of unseemly. Adjective. Of behavior or action.
Read.
Not proper or appropriate.
You see that? Behavior that is not proper, behavior that is not appropriate. Okay? Now go back.
First book of Romans.
No, not the first book of Romans. I've never seen that. Romans chapter 1, read verse 27.
Follow what you said.
Come on.
The book of Romans, chapter 1, verse 27.
Read.
And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman.
They left the natural use of the woman. A woman's natural use is to deal with the man. A man's natural use is to deal with the woman. That's it. That's why even the Zambian president said that even the animals don't do it. Why should we do it? Really?
Banned in their lust.
They are banned in their lust. You don't see animals doing that. But you see, Esau is so demonic, right? Now, you know what Esau is trying to do when you watch the Discovery Channel? What he does is that he's trying to get other animals to jump on other animals of the same sex to say, you see, it's even happening in nature. I've seen that. Listen, this white man is the damn devil the Bible speaks of. So because he's realizing that's the argument we're using. But even the animal kingdom don't do that. So now Israel's trying to find a way to make it so that you can say, but listen, there's a video where a male lion was dealing with another male lion. You see, it's even happening in nature. This white man is vile. You understand? Read.
Banned in their lust.
They are banned in their lust. Come on.
One to one another.
One to one another.
Man with man. Working that which is unseemly.
Working that which is inappropriate. Read.
And receiving in themselves that recompense of their error, which was meat.
Which was what? Which was good for that sin. But guess what? They can repent. That's what we push. They must repent. We don't hate them, but they must repent. Is that simple? Okay. Understand that. Now play the next video. Yeah, play that.
What is attracting you in a man to a man? Even now I have not really fully understood it, that you can fail to be attracted to all these beautiful women here and others.
What is it that is making you to be attracted to another man? So you are failing to be attracted to all these beautiful women. That's what we read in Romans. Leaving the natural use of the woman. That's what we just read. Okay, go ahead.
What is attracting you in a man to a man? Even now I have not really fully understood it, that you can fail to be attracted to all these beautiful women here and elsewhere, and you are attracted by a man. That's a very serious matter. It means there's something really wrong with you. We don't do things like that. This is enough for people.
We don't do things like that. Play on.
You go into your house. Why do you have why do you come to show us how you are kissing, how you are? What is
this video now? Yeah. Now this is the one I wanted you to play. Now I want you to see what's going on here. Okay? Go back. Go now. I want you to pause. Now you see that Daniel 8:25? Go back here. Go back to Daniel chapter 8, verse 25. Okay, watch this.
The book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 25.
Isn't it good? Come on.
And through his policy.
And through his what?
And through his policy.
Through his policy. Come on.
Also, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand.
Pause right there. Now, I want you to see something. Through his policy, he will cause craft to prosper in his hand. Now, get Revelation chapter 13 now. Read verse 16.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 16.
Watch this.
And he causes all, both small and great.
You see, both small nation and great nation, come on.
Rich and poor.
Rich and poor nations.
Free and bond.
Free and bond, come on.
To receive a mark.
The mark is sin, policy. Daniel calls it policy, here John the Revelator calls it a mark. But the simplest term to use here is sin. Sin, read.
In their right hand.
In their right hand, meaning you agree with it, read on.
Or in their forehead.
Because what? Because you support it, read.
And that no man might buy or sell.
You see that part right there? That no man might buy or sell. This goes into trade. Meaning what? They put sanctions on you. You cannot trade with other nations. You cannot do business with other nations. So therefore, guess what? You cannot do import or export. So it causes a civil unrest in your country. Guess what? Now there's a civil war. Guess what happens? They say, no, there must be a regime change. Isn't that what happened in South Africa? It's the same thing that happened here. Go ahead.
Save he that had the mark.
You see, save he that had the mark. That has accepted America's policy. Read.
Or the name of the beast.
Or the name of the beast. Read.
Or the number of his name.
Or the number of his name, which is 666, the number of destruction. But the point here is showing John the Revelator is saying, listen, because you cannot do trade with other countries. If America says you can't, we put sanctions on you. Look at Zimbabwe. Look at Haiti. You understand? Those countries are impoverished. I mean, Haiti is one of the most impoverished states on the earth. Okay? Look what's happening in Venezuela. They're eating out of dustbins. The country that is producing oil, they are eating out of dustbins since they killed Chavez. You understand? Read that verse again, verse 16. No, verse 12, verse 17.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 17.
Read.
And that no man might buy or sell.
You see that no country, great or small, might buy or sell. Come on.
Save he that had the mark.
Save he that had what? The policy of America. Go ahead.
Or the name of the beast. Or the number of his name.
You see that thing? So that's what we just read in Daniel 8:25. Is what we read in 1 Maccabees chapter 8. Now play the next video. This is good.
Thank you. Hello, Admiral. Yeah. Yes. Hi. Two questions. First one, following up on Kerry. Thank you. Hello, Admiral. Yeah. Yes. Hi. Two questions. First one, following up on Kareen's statement about Uganda and what Secretary of State has already said. Is anything like sanctions or some other concrete measure being considered by the US side if this law should take effect?
Yeah, well, you see that they are in the same mind. Even the journalists, they are asking them, or is there some kind of measure or punishment, some kind of sanctions that the US is going to impose on Uganda should this anti-gay bill right be passed? Well, that's what is it that, because these all have one mind. These all have one mind because you could have simply asked, but those people over there, they have their own government, they are independent. So why would the US want to impose sanctions on that country when that country is independent from you? They're not going to ask that, because if you ask that question, that journalist will never be allowed to come back here. Because there's a black journalist. Because remember, there's a White House correspondent, not White House correspondent, but I think she's a Speaker of the House. It's a sister. It's a sister with blonde hair and all that. She doesn't like a brother who's from Cameroon. The brother is asking tough questions. So much so that I think a couple of days ago, she even left the White House. She left the podium and left. She got mad so much at the brother, she left. Because the brother is asking tough questions. You understand? Play it again from the beginning.
Thank you. Hello, Admiral. Yeah. Yes. Hi. Two questions. First one, following up on Kareen's statement about Uganda and what Secretary of State has already said. Is anything like...
You notice the accent. Play it again. Pay attention to the accent. Understand what we read in Daniel 7, what we read in Daniel 2, okay, what we read in Yeah, Daniel 7 as well. 24, I think. Listen up.
Thank you. Hello, Admiral.
Yeah.
Sorry. Hi. Two questions. First one, following up on Karin's statement about Uganda and what Secretary of State has already said.
European. You see, that's an English accent. So what he's asking is asking the same question he is asking is the same things that the EU is thinking regarding what Uganda is doing. Because these all have one mind. This guy's from England. Okay, he's British. Play on.
Is anything like sanctions or some other concrete measure being considered by the US side if this law should take effect?
Yeah, well, first of all, big if there, right? This is the parliament passing it. It still has some.
It's not a big if. When you look at the history, has it been a big if? No. Look at what's happening in Nigeria. They sent Obama over there. And you got the Nigerian president said, hell to the Lord, to hell with that. We're not going to accept that. Go back to America. Play.
Process to go here. We're certainly watching this real closely, and we would have to take a look at whether or not there might be repercussions that we would have to take, perhaps in an economic way, should this.
You see that? They are telling you exactly. He's giving you the blueprint of what they're gonna do. He says they're gonna take. They're gonna be repercussions in an economic way. Geopolitics again. Go ahead.
Law actually get passed and enacted. And that would be really unfortunate because so much of the economic assistance that we provide Uganda is health assistance.
You see that so much of the economic assistance that we provide to Uganda, that means it's going to be cut. We're no longer gonna give you aid. And you know how they're gonna solve the problem? They're gonna cause civil unrest in Uganda. So that Museveni gets overthrown, and they put another puppet who's going to agree with America's policy, and they continue. Look what Mnangagwa is one of them. Because Mugabe was said, no, we're not going to agree. Guess what? When Mugabe was out, Mnangagwa came. Shortly after that, what is that guy's name? Pastor Ubet something? He was the one that was brokering the deals for the president of Zimbabwe to go to the US to meet the president of the United States. So that what? They can start lifting those sanctions that they put against Zimbabwe. That's what, listen, brothers, watch the news. You look confused. Play on.
And largely through PEPFAR. You can see a world in which a law like this, should it be enacted, would not only, as Karine rightly said, just be devastating to a whole community of people inside.
You see that? I just said it. So now this thing is going to affect a whole community. What is that talking about? Civilians. Because the quickest way to overthrow a leader just causes civil unrest. And then there's chaos in the country. And then before you know it, they say, no, there must be a regime change. What happened with Mushoros? Listen, Mushoros caused so many problems for the West, so much so that even when he was not in office, they made sure to destroy that man's name and his man's reputation. Look, when he was out, what happened shortly after that? The looting. How often does that happen? Does that make any sense? No, that doesn't make any sense. But listen, you can see what the people on the ground, or people that was looting shops and all that, this thing was against, it was a domino effect. It was not because of Mushoros, but somebody, an economic hitman, used that opportunity to say, you see what happens? This is because of Mushoros. No. It was because of an economic hitman. And Ramaphosa was just sitting there, just acting, plain dead. Like he don't know nothing. Mom was the word. Listen, you need principalities and powers in high places. Understand what's going on, brothers. Don't be asleep. Play on.
Uganda, but if it were to have any kind of an effect on our economic assistance, that would only make that worse. So we'll have to take a look. No decisions. We're watching this very, very closely, and hopefully it won't pass, and we won't have to do anything.
So what is he telling you? When the bill gets passed, they're going to do just that. They're going to punish Uganda economically, meaning we're no longer going to supply aid unto you. So, Lord's will, Uganda, the Ugandan president has a plan. You understand? The same plan that Idi Amin, Idi Amin is my hero, you see. You know Idi Amin? The president of Uganda. Listen, man, you must watch that video. You must watch his videos. Watch his documentary. Idi Amin. Put him on the screen. No, not Museveni. Idi Amin. Just say Idi Amin. Because he's the one that's going to pop up. No. Yeah, that's it right there. Yeah, that is him right there. This guy didn't play it. He loved the thing like they say he is a dictator. He wasn't they say brutal dictator. He was not a brutal dictator. He loved his people. He just put the West in their place. So because he did that, they say he was a violent dictator. They're lying. He wasn't like that. You understand? But that's what America does. America, they vilify those that don't agree with them. That's what we read in First Maccabees. Okay. Now play the next video. That's him right there. Okay, so no, there's another one that I sent. I think it's a Kenyan. Yeah, this one. Yeah, that's the one.
There is no right, if you look at the Constitution of Kenya and the laws we have in this country, to be gay, to be a lesbian, to be transgender, or to be queer, which is what the Q stands for in LGBTQ. To the contrary, we should read the provisions of Article 45 of the Constitution. First, it places the family at the very heart of the society. In fact, what it says is that the family is the fundamental unit of the society. At sub-article 2 of Article 45, it says only people of opposite gender can marry one another. And that is the...
Pause. Let's get the book of Mark real quick. Give me the book of Mark, okay? Yeah, give me Mark chapter 10, read verse 6. Start with verse 5. Watch this.
The book of Mark, chapter 10, verse 5.
Actually, read the verse, start with verse 4. You know what? Start with verse 2.
The book of Mark, chapter 10, verse 2.
Watch this.
And the Pharisees came to him and asked him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife? Tempting him. And he answered and said unto them, what did Moses command you? And they said, Moses suffers to write a bill of divorcement.
Okay, I'm sorry. Read verse 2 again.
The book of Mark, chapter 10, verse 2.
Read.
And the Pharisees came to him and asked him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife?
Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife? That's a female. Go ahead.
Tempting him. And he answered and said unto them, what did Moses command you?
What did Moses command you? Watch this. Because they might say, but wife can be taken in any context you like. Keep reading.
And they said, Moses suffered to write a bill of divorcement and to put her away.
And to put him away.
And to put her away.
And to put her away. You see, reading is fundamental, brothers. Because I knew exactly, the minute I read verse 2, I knew that was coming. Because you see that Christ wrote those things that way. Because he knows in the last days, there's going to be those that are going to find loopholes. You understand? In the script, they think they're going to find, there's no loophole in this book. Read verse 2 again. Read 2 and then jump to verse 4.
The book of Mark, chapter 10, verse 2.
What's this?
And the Pharisees came to him,
Christ, read,
and asked him, is it lawful for a man,
go ahead,
to put away his wife? Tempting him.
Verse 4.
And they said, Moses suffers to write a bill of divorcement And to put her away.
And to put her away. That's the wife. The wife is a her. It's not a him. Okay? Read.
And Jesus answered and said unto them, For the hardness of your heart, he wrote you this precept.
He did what?
He wrote you this precept.
He wrote you this precept, because precept is a law. Read.
But from the beginning.
But from the beginning, come on.
Of the creation, God made them male and female.
You see that? Man and woman. He made them male and female. Come on.
For this cause.
Because of this,
shall a man leave father and mother and cleave to his wife.
And cleave to his wife. Come on.
And they twain shall be one flesh.
This is marriage right here. Marriage is between man and woman. Go ahead.
So then, they are no more twain, but one flesh.
They are no more twain, but one flesh. Come on.
What therefore God has joined together, let no man put asunder.
You see that thing? Now play the video.
Law of Kenya. I'm aware this thing is in all government offices. This thing is even in parliament. This thing is even in the media. This thing is percolating all over. But I want to tell the people imagining we can withdraw, because I've been receiving threats telling me Kaluma withdraw from that enterprise. Tell them to study my history with matters concerning the family. Yeah. We brought down the slave queens the other day.
Oh, praise. They brought down the slave queens. You understand? You know, let me, like, you know, these type of leaders, I like these type of leaders, because they call a spade a spade. They know, they stand for what they believe in. They are not keeping the commandments, but there is some sort of sense of the difference between right and wrong. That's what I like about them. Go ahead.
Kaluma brought the Marriage Act, which has consolidated all marriage laws. Up to the time we brought the Matrimonial Property Act, Kenya was relying on 1882 laws of England on matrimonial property. On family.
They are relying on 1882 laws that were put up by England. The same England that was asking the questions in the White House. Go ahead.
Family, there is no backpedaling. And don't call me to say I'll not go to your country. What do we lack in Kenya? You can cancel your visa. I was a short while back in a foreign country, and you can imagine being approached by a fellow man asking me to go out and mess with him, sleep with him. And the guy has the audacity to tell me I look nicely round. Can you imagine? What a level of perversion. So I'm telling our people that this is an enterprise which is going on. There is no reverse gear, and it is going to succeed. On the day this bill is going to be tabled, it is going to be Kenya versus Sodom and Gomorrah, the other side.
Yeah. So they understand. You see, they are still in the biblical text. They understand what this means, because they know the history of Sodom and Gomorrah. There was much evil that was taking place. And guess what? Brothers, we are under spiritual Sodom right now. America is spiritual Sodom. Understand that. That's why they are pushing these Sodomite policies to all these countries and strong arming them. Remember, they starve us, they leave us impoverished, and then they come back and say, we're going to give you aid, but you must accept this. Pray on.
Anybody will rise to oppose will belong, and Kenyans will see them to Sodom and Gomorrah immediately. And as Kenyans will fight very hard, and I know we are more than the people of Sodom and Gomorrah sent in this parliament, I know we will succeed. So I appreciate what is happening. The bill has been drafted. We are now waiting for parliament to move forward. But as we do that, we want to encourage our institutions to know that they exist for Kenya, not for foreign powers.
So he understands what's going on. He's not clueless. He's not clueless, so he's fighting. You understand? But it is a spiritual war. It's not a physical fight. It's a spiritual war. That's why we must repent and keep these laws. That's why these brothers in Kenya, they need to hear this gospel. They need to know that they are the Jews of the Bible, so they can repent and keep God's commandments and help us build this great nation that no one man can build alone. These are the people that we must make allies with. Understand that, okay? I know the West is listening right now and say, oh, so you agree. Yes, we agree with the Bible though. We agree with what the Bible says. If he's saying something that lines up with the Bible, of course we support that. Make no mistake about it. We're not going to unapologetically biblical. Okay? Now play the next video. Yeah, you can. That's it on there. Here's another one. This is a recent one, actually. This is crazy. You know, when I saw that, I'm like, actually, I want you to play. Play. This is Emmanuel Macron. Okay? Make it big. Yeah, like this. Why am I seeing the top stuff? Yeah, like this. Okay, come on, play.
In my opinion, France is asking for trouble, especially now when a lot of African countries are turning against France. They are trying to deport Africans from Africa. Make it make sense. Comoros is criticizing France over a planned and documented immigrant deportation from island of Mayotte. Mayotte is an island that is in Africa, but France still owns that island, believe it or not, even though they got...
So France, they own the island of Mayotte. They own that island. That island is between Madagascar and Mozambique. Okay, so it's in Southeast Africa. That's where it is, right? Southeast. Okay, come on.
Got independence when other African countries got their independence.
It is situated between northwestern Madagascar and northeastern Mozambique in the northern Mozambique Channel in the Indian Ocean, off the coast of Southeast Africa. Grande Terre, also known as Maure, is the largest island in Mayotte. Petite Terre, also known as Pamanzi, is a smaller island that surrounds the two main islands. The Mozambique Channel's most rich territory, Mayotte, serves as a significant entry point for illegal immigrants. Mayotte shares the...
So the illegal immigrants, meaning quote-unquote Africans. Because the same thing that they are doing right now is the same thing that we're doing here in South Africa. So much so that if you are staying in Limpopo and you come to Joburg, you are a foreigner here in Joburg. You are an immigrant here in Joburg. That's why you have to have a top pass and a signature to say you are only here for a limited time, you're gonna go back. So that's crazy. So guess what? You might think it's crazy, but they're still doing it. That hasn't stopped. Because we've still been ruled over by the same demons over us. From back then in the 1400s until now. It's still there. Okay, play on.
Same status as the departments of metropolitan France as one of France's 18 regions and one of its offshore departments. It is the most remote area of the European Union, and as a department of France located abroad, it is a member of the Eurozone.
Thousands of people marched on Thursday in Moroni protesting that the neighboring French island of Mayotte is part of Comoros. Earlier in March, the Indian Ocean island, which is an overseas French territory, was hit by a wave of social protests by its residents against insecurity and immigration from Comoros. French authorities expelled undocumented Comorians out of Mayotte, but Comoros retaliated by refusing to accept back the expelled citizens, insisting that Mayotte is its own sovereign territory. She says, I am confident that Mayotte will return to its natural lap one day like today.
Because they were unchecked until now they have come to this point where they are trying to deport Africans from their own land.
So that's it on that. But what I'm showing you is, this is Emmanuel Macron. Remember, he's part of the EU. So they are now want to expel our brothers from that island. And it's their island. You see what I'm saying? Guess what? Isn't that the same program that Unclean was pushing? That's because that's the program of the white man. The program of the white man is to divide and conquer you, using your own brothers to do it. You understand? So what's happening now is that what's happening in Mayotte is the same thing that was happening here in Mzansi, where Operation Tutula was saying, no, foreigners are taking jobs. They are here illegally. What about the Chinese? What about the Arabs? What about the Ishmaelites? More importantly, what about the white men? What about their businesses in the Gazis, who Spar, who Pick and Pay, who ShopRite? Are they not destroying the township economy? You see how people don't think. The common sense is below the ground. You're not understanding or no. Your brother from the Congo who's got a spaza shop, he's destroying the township economy. Okay, what about the spa? What about the spa that was built to destroy your uncle's supermarket? How about that? You see what I'm saying? It's because it's showing you that our people are in a spell. There are people are in a spell. They don't understand what's going on. That's why they need the laws of God to open their eyes to see what's really going on. You understand? Okay, so now, go back to Revelation 16. Revelation 16, read verse 13 now again. Okay, that's it on that. Revelation 16, verse 13. Okay.
The book of Revelation, chapter 16, verse 13.
Come on.
And I saw 3 unclean spirits.
He says, I saw 3 unclean spirits. Come on.
Like frogs.
Like frogs. Read on.
Come out of the mouth of the dragon.
Come out of the mouth of the dragon. That's politics. We went over there. Because politics is an unclean spirit. That's what you need to understand. Politics is an unclean spirit. Go ahead.
And out of the mouth of the beast.
And out of the mouth of the beast. This right here is economics. Economic exploitation. Economic exploitation. Now, give me the book. Yeah, Mutuku Pegu. Give me that book. Give me the book of Mutuku Pegu. Our forefather that wrote that glorious book. Okay? We're going to read something out of that book. Okay? Yes. Let me see what pages I want. So you can take a picture of it. Economic exploitation. You're gonna take page 12. Okay, Portuguese met Azania in 1497. You're gonna take page 12, right? Okay. It was not part of the plan. I didn't plan it for my class, but I wanna include it. Okay. Bear with me, brothers and sisters online. We're bringing some jewels out here. Okay. You're gonna take page 148 as well. Page 148 and 149. Okay. Yep. Yeah, so that's the book right there. So the people can see the book we read. That's the book right there. That is the book. Okay, that's the name of the book. Okay, so I'm gonna touch on that. Okay, because this goes into economics. Okay, which is run by the IMF, the World Bank, and the World Trade Organization. Brothers, you need to invest, you need to research. If you are people that are saying they're very cheap economists, they don't understand what's going on. They don't know these things that we're bringing out. You're not going to learn this in school. Certainly you're not going to learn this for varsity. You are not going to learn this stuff. Okay? So that's the book right there. Okay, read the title of the book.
Aparte, the story of a dispossessed people by Mutuku Pegu.
By Mutuku Pegu. Okay, let's see the picture of the brother, our forefather. Let's look it up. Mutuku Pegu. That's him right there. Yeah, that is him. Okay, that's it. That's our forefather right there. Okay, Mutuku Pegu. You look like a hippie chap. Okay. But more is a hippie. He look like a hippie man. Look at him. He's aging well. All praise to the Most High. Okay. Yeah, that's him right there. Omon, he's a warrior. Okay. That's a warrior right there. Okay. So we must honor these forefathers that wrote. Yes, they were not in the scriptures, but guess what? The books they wrote, we can use them, you understand, as we teaching our people the laws of God. We can use these books that they wrote because there's valuable information in there to educate our youth and our sons and our daughters. Okay. So I need you to put up those pages up, okay, so the people can see what we're gonna be reading from. All right. So go to Revelation 6 verse 5. Let's start there. Revelation chapter 6 and verse 5. Read it.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 5.
Read.
And when he had opened the third seal.
When he had opened the third seal, come on.
I heard the third beast say, Come and see.
Come and see.
And I beheld. And lo, a black horse.
And lo, a black horse. A black horse. Come on.
And he that sat on him.
So you had this man sit on a black horse. Come on.
Had a pair of balances in his hand.
And he had a pair of balances in his hand. The black horse is a metaphor. It represents the dark races, black people, Israelites. Now give me the book of Job 30 verse 30. The black horse represents the dark races, the dark nations, okay? Job 30 verse 30. Read that. Come on, Job 30 verse 30. Read that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to show you that, because you might say, but he's saying a black horse. He's not saying a per se. You're not the Negro. Give me the book of Proverbs. Let's go there. No, Sirach. Give me the book of Ecclesiasticus. Sirach chapter, I think it's 31. Let me see. Yeah, Sirach chapter 30. Yeah, give me Sirach chapter 30 and verse 8. Start with verse 1. We're going to jump down to verse 8. Watch this.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 30, verse 1.
Read.
He that loveth his son.
He that loveth his son. Go ahead.
Causeth him off to feel the rod.
He causes him off to feel the rod. Okay. Go ahead.
That he may have joy of him in the end.
Now read verse 7.
Verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
He that maketh too much of his son.
He that maketh too much of his son, come on.
Shall bind up his wound.
You're going to bind up his wound. Meaning what? You're going to have to pay for the evils he does. Read on.
And his bowels will be troubled at every cry.
Meaning your bowels will be troubled at every of his cry. Go ahead.
And horse not broken.
He's still talking about the son. He's using a horse as a metaphor. A horse not what?
And horse not broken.
Listen, you're not going to have one upon us. Don't miss that. You're not going to have one upon us. Understand that. Read again.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 30, verse 8.
Read.
And horse not broken.
And horse not broken.
Becometh headstrong.
Becometh headstrong. Boy, watch this.
And a child.
There it is. And a child, come on.
Left to himself.
And a child left to himself.
Will be willful.
Will be willful. So the horse is a metaphor. Now go back to Revelation 6 and 5 now. You are not going to catch us. Make no mistake about it. Read that Revelation 6 and 5.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 5.
Read.
And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third priest say,
Read.
Come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse.
And lo, a black horse. Go ahead.
And he that sat on him.
Now you had this man sitting upon this black horse. Read.
Had a pair of balances in his hand.
He had a pair of balances in his hand. Money. Economics. When he says he had a pair of balances in his hand, meaning he controls the flow of money. Transactions, trade, buying and selling, import and export. You see that? Because when you have a pair of balances in your hand, you control the economy. You control the economy and you can exploit using the economy. You see that? Now give me the book of Job 30 verse 30. Just to give you who is the black horse. Okay.
The book of Job, chapter 30, verse 30.
Read.
My skin is black upon me.
My skin is black upon me, come on.
And my bones are burned with heat.
Okay, Jeremiah 8:21.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 8, verse 21.
Come on, read.
For the head of the daughter of my people I am head.
That's why we are out here, because of the head of the daughter of my people. Go ahead.
I am black.
I am what?
I am black.
Read.
Astonishment has taken hold of me.
Now give me Lamentations 4, verse 9. Verse 8. Lamentations 4, verse 8. Okay, read that.
The book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 8.
Come on.
Their visage is blacker than a coal.
Their faces is blacker than a coal. This is talk about the black people. Black people, so-called Israelites in the Bible. Okay? Song of Solomon 1 and 5. Read that. Song of Solomon 1 and 5. Watch this.
Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5.
Come on.
I am black.
I am what?
I am black.
I am black. Come on.
But come.
But what?
But come.
Black and beautiful. Verse 6.
Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 6.
Read.
Look not upon me, because I am black.
That's it on that. Go back to Revelation 6 and 5 now.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 5.
Read.
And when he had opened the third seal,
When he had opened the third seal, come on.
I heard the third beast say, Come and see.
Come and see. Read.
And I beheld, and lo, a black horse.
That's talking about the dark nations. That's us. Read.
And he that sat on him.
He that sat on him. He that sat on him. Jump up to verse. He is the beast, actually. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, keep reading. He's gonna explain it.
And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand.
And he that sat on him, wait, what?
Had a pair of balances in his hand.
Had a pair of balances in his hand. Balances in his hand. Meaning what? He controls the flow of money. This right here is talking about Esau, by the way. This talk about Esau. The proof of that is in verse, jump up to verse 4. Read verse 4.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 4.
Go ahead.
And they went out another horse that was red.
That was what?
That was red.
What color was the horse?
That was red.
The horse was red. Okay. Red.
And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth.
To take peace from the earth. To bring death and destruction on earth. The color of this horse is red. That's obvious. We read it last night. Genesis 25:25. Actually, read Revelation 12, verse 3. Because the Apostle John is saying the same thing over and over.
The book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 3.
Read.
And there appeared another wonder in heaven. And behold, a great red dragon.
Now he's not saying a horse, they're saying a dragon. Okay, the dragon is red. The horse is red in Revelation 6 and 4. Now get Genesis 25 real quick.
The book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 25.
Read.
And the first came out red, all over like a heavy garment.
You see, read.
And they called his name Esau.
They called his name Esau. Esau, Edom, Idumea, the Caucasian race. Now, go back to Revelation. Okay, chapter 6. Read verse 5. One more again. Come on.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 5.
Read.
And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. And I beheld. And lo, a black horse.
A what?
A black horse.
Read.
And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand.
He had a pair of balances in his hand. Now I'm going to watch this. This beast that is sitting on this black horse, he has a pair of balances in his hand. And these balances, he has falsified them. That's what I need you to understand. Give me the book of Amos, okay? Give me the book of Amos. He has falsified these balances, okay? Because remember, he is a merchant. I need you men to understand. This man is a merchant. Actually, give me Sirach chapter 26, the last verse. I'm going to show you something. He's got false balances in his hands to deceive, to destroy, to leave the nations impoverished. Now read that for me.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 26, verse 29.
Read.
A merchant shall hardly keep himself from doing wrong.
You see that? A merchant shall hardly keep himself from doing wrong. Because who's the merchant? This man that is sitting on a black horse. Particularly, he's making reference to the dark races, the continent of Africa. You understand? Central America, South America, North America, where people is at, as an example. Okay, go ahead.
And an huckster.
So a merchant is a huckster. Read.
Shall not be free from sin.
They shall not be free from sin. You see that? So guess what? He's got a pair of balances in his hand because he's a merchant. A merchant can hardly keep himself from doing wrong because he's a huckster. You understand? Get that in Amos now, chapter 8. Amos, chapter 8. Read verse 4. Come on.
The book of Amos, chapter 8, verse 4.
Read.
Hear this, or ye that swallow up the needy, even to make the poor of the land to faint.
Because that's what they do. They swallow up the needy. We are the needy. They have swallowed us up. You understand? Because if it was up to them, they would have wiped us out from the face of the earth. That's what it says. If it had not been for the Lord who was on our side, then they that rose up against us, they would have swallowed us up quick. That's what we read. Go ahead.
Saying, when will the new moon be gone?
Because they don't care about the new moon. Read.
That we may sell corn.
Because they don't care. Guess what? The reason why it says, when will the new moon be gone? This was our people. But metaphorically, it's also talking about the other nations because they don't care about the new moon. They still trade on the new moon. Read.
And the Sabbath, that we may set forth.
Because on the Sabbath, they open their stores on the Sabbath. That today, their shops are open. Their malls are open. Go ahead. That we may what?
That we may set forth wheat.
That we may set forth wheat. Go ahead.
Making the ephah small.
Making the ephah small.
And the shekel great.
Read. And the shekel great. I mean, you have to pay more for less. Read.
And falsifying the balances by deceit.
That's what we just read in Revelation. They falsify the balances by deceit. So he's got a pair of false balances in his hand. You understand? Now go back to Revelation 6 now. Read verse 6.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 6.
Read.
And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny.
A measure of wheat for a penny. Go ahead.
And 3 measures of barley for a penny.
And 3 measures of barley for a penny. Go ahead.
And see thou had not the oil and the wine.
He says, see that you don't have the oil and the wine. In God we trust. In gold, in oil, and in drugs we trust. Because where do they get the drugs? Because they get them from the minerals that they take out of the earth. Read again verse 6.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 6.
Watch this.
And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny.
Come on.
And 3 measures of barley for a penny.
Read.
And see thou had not the oil and the wine.
Now that's why listen, that's why they destroy the earth. Because they are digging up the oil from the earth, the blood of the earth. They are doing that. That's why now there's earthquakes because they are man-made. Because they are sucking up the oil from the earth, the blood of the earth. If somebody sucks blood out of you, what's going to happen to you? You will begin to malfunction. So that's what's happening to the earth right now. Now, but I want to show you something with the falsifying of balances by deceit. Now, give me the first video. Okay. Now, stop right there. Before you play that, now, I want you to, play this video right here. Play this video. Now, because the people that control, guess what? They control the balances, the pair of balances. They control the flow of money upon the earth. Guess what? They that are responsible for lending, for keeping the countries, particularly Africa, indebted, to be in debt, to be enslaved by debt and economic exploitation. Guess what? I'm gonna show you the name of those organizations. They are pretty big. These are not small organizations, these are not small boys. Now, play the video.
If you're confused by the difference between the International Monetary
Yes. This is 1487. They went over there in 1492. This is 1487 here. Okay, come on.
His successor, Vasco da Gama, who landed in Azania.
Azania is South Africa, by the way. Go ahead.
On Christmas Day, 1497.
1497.
And called it Natal. Land of nativity in commemoration of Christ's birth.
That's just garbage. Now read the next part.
Jan van Riebeeck himself met the Khoisan people in 1652.
So guess what? The invasion of the white people, like you see that video that we watched last night, it says the arrival of the white men, it says 1652. No. That's incorrect. It's for the 1400s. It's not 1600s, it's the 1400s, okay? 15th century. Okay, jump down.
He says that the Hottentots, Khoi, had at first provided da Gama with beef, which he described as sweet as that of Portugal, and entertained his crew with pastoral flutes, making pretty harmony for Negroes who are not expected to be musicians
because they are talking crazy. We are musicians. What are you talking about? Scroll down. Okay, that's it on there. Now I want the next page now. So they arrived here in the 1400s, the same way they arrived in the Americas of Northern Kingdom, the tribe of Gad, 1492, 1487 they arrived here. Okay, now watch this. We're still going into having the pair of balances in their hand. Because remember, they have to conquer us, they have to colonize us, and then now after they've done that, they have to rip the resources out. Now read that. Read. Bantu come on.
A plot against Africa.
Remember, Bantu is reservations. The same way you have reservations in the US against the Native American Indians, is the same reservations they had here against us, the Bantus. Read.
In 1835, Jan van Riebeeck's descendants.
And actually, in 1835, it's crazy because around that same year, guess what was happening in the Americas with Andrew Jackson? Andrew Jackson, he came with the U.S. cavalry to destroy the Native Americans. Look up Andrew Jackson. Is it 18 or 17? Let me see. Andrew Jackson. Yeah, so let's see when, yeah. Click it. Yeah, read it.
Reading from Wikipedia.com, Andrew Jackson was an American lawyer, planter, general, and statesman who served as the 7th president of the United States.
Go ahead.
From 1829 to 1837.
From 1829 to 1837. Okay, go ahead.
Before being elected to the presidency, he gained fame as a general in the U.S. Army and served in both houses of the U.S. Congress. Although often praised as an advocate for ordinary Americans and for his work in preserving the Union of States, Jackson has also been criticized.
Has also been what?
Has also been criticized.
This demon has also been criticized for what?
For his racial policies, particularly his treatment of Native Americans.
You see that? So it was right about the same time. Because what? These were the same people that was destroying us over here. They were destroying our brothers and sisters over there in the Americas, the tribe of Gad. That's what you need to understand. So they are not disconnected. No, they are all the same because they're all the same race of people. Now go back to the book now. Okay, now read that again. In 1835?
In 1835, Jan van Riebeeck's descendants, the Boer trekkers, left the Cape Colony to start a process of national dispossession of all the indigenous people of Azania.
You see that? National dispossession of land. Taking land by force. That's what Jan van Riebeeck's descendants did. You understand? That's what Andrew Jackson did, and his descendants to the Native American Indians to push them in reservations. That's the same thing that Jan van Riebeeck and his descendants did to us. Read.
P3T, the Boer leader.
That's Jan van Riebeeck's descendant. P3T. Go ahead.
later killed by King Dingaan,
All praises. Read.
spoke of the determination of his people to preserve proper relations between master and servant.
So who were the masters? They were the masters, and we were the slaves, and we still are. But we are the true masters of this earth. That's what you need to understand. Read.
Today, the racist policy of the Bantustan.
The racist policy of Bantustan is a racist policy. Have we not been reading about America's policies, brothers? We've been reading about the America's policy to destroy and to pillage and to put people in an impoverished state. That's what we're reading here. Today, the racist policy of the Bantustans, reservations, go ahead,
involves not only white supremacy.
So, Bantustans, which is today the Lokshin, Ekazi. Lokshin Ekazi, guess what? Guess what? It's a policy, it's a policy of white supremacy. So us living in the ghettos is an example of what the policy of white supremacy. Read.
Political oppression.
You see, Bantustans is a racist policy of what? White supremacy, political oppression, which is what we're going over. Read.
And economic exploitation.
And what?
And economic exploitation.
He had a pair of balances in his hands. Economic exploitation. That's what Peter Tiff was doing. You understand? That's what Jan van Riebeeck was doing. That's what Bartholomew Diaz was doing. That's what Vasco da Gama was doing. That's what Christopher Columbus was doing. And they were all following their forefather, Pope Nicholas V, Pope Alexander VI of Rome. Read. Come on, but the what? Read again. Today what?
Today, the racist policy of the Bantustans involves not only white supremacy, political oppression, and economic exploitation of the indigenous African people.
Read.
But the land question is central.
The land question is central because once you have land, you have wealth. You have land, you've got wealth. Go ahead.
The total population of South Africa is 30 million people.
Because the 30 million people now is about 50 plus million people now. Go ahead.
Of these, 4 million are white settlers.
So 4 million out of the 30 million people, they own 87% of the land that is existing in South Africa. And we were watching a video that says 40% of the world's wealth is owned by 1%. 40% of the wealth of the world is owned by 1%. Really?
3% of the population are Indians, while the vast majority of the population are indigenous Africans.
Bantus. Go ahead. Meaning Israelites. Really?
The settlers have allocated to themselves.
The settlers. Who are the settlers? The foreigners. Who are those foreigners? White people. The Buddhists, the Dutch, the French, the Portuguese. Okay? Read.
87% of the total land area.
They've allocated to themselves 87% of the total land area of Azania, South Africa, that is called today. Go ahead.
While 25 million Africans,
25 million Israelites, read,
are expected to occupy the homeland.
The reservations, the homeland. So guess what? Because the homeland, you know what the homeland is equivalent to? It's equivalent to somebody coming into your house to take over your house and putting you in the bathroom. So we're basically in the bathroom of our own house right now, while somebody is occupying the whole house and the whole yard. That's where we are. And now we are comfortable in the bathroom. We're comfortable in the bathroom right now. You understand? You're beginning to paint it. You're adding perfumes now. You're putting mirrors and whatnot in the bathroom. That's what you're doing. Really?
Of Bantustans.
Of Bantustans. Come on.
The remaining 13% of land.
You see that? So 25 million Israelites, they are expected to live on 13% of the land. Now we are more. We're no longer 25 million. We're more than that now. Go ahead.
As one writer has observed, read, the white farmers in South Africa occupy 92.2 million hectares, which amounts to 75% of the total land surface of the country.
You see that? 92.2 million hectares. I mean, that's big, man. Read.
Of these, white-owned farms, of these white-owned farms, 106,001 live off the exploitation of cheap black labor.
That's us. 106,001 live off the exploitation of cheap black labor. Because it says what? He saw a black horse. And him that sat on it had a pair of balances in his hand. You understand? Because what? He's got false balances in his hand. These are the false balances. Because look at these numbers. These numbers don't add up. Read.
68.5% of these farms are bigger than 80 hectares.
68% of these farms, they are bigger than 80 hectares. Read.
And 23.9% are over 860 hectares.
You cannot make this up, man. 23.9% are over 860 hectares. Read.
The Bantu states or reserves of the Transkei,
because it's not just the Transkei, it's the whole of South Africa. Go ahead.
Created by the South African fascists in accordance with their policy.
In accordance with their what?
In accordance with their policy.
You see that? So their policy is not just political exploitation. It's economic exploitation. That's what you need to understand. We went into the policy of political exploitation. Now we went over the policy of what? Economic exploitation. Read.
Of separate development.
Separate development. That's why we had whites only toilets, blacks only. Read.
Harbor 41% of the African population and comprises only 13.5 million hectares.
You can't make this up. This is how they falsify balances by deceit. That's the pair of balances that he had in his hands. Because remember, if you want to own the economy, you must have access to land. Because once you have access to land and you own 87% of the land, that means you own 87% of the economy. Because guess what? You have land, that means you can plant. That means you control import and export of food. Not only that, but you have livestock. That means you control meat. You control clothing. You understand that? You control property. You control who can have the job and how much they get paid. You control the person that you hire, where they stay. You control them too. Because you have 87% of the land populated, the total land surface area. That means 30%. That's what the rest of the Israelites, the Bantus, the slaves, they have access to that. You control where they stay and how they stay. You control what they eat and how they eat. You control what they dress and how they dress. You see that? You control every aspect of their life. That's why it says you want to control somebody, control their environment. If you want to have full control of somebody, just have control of their environment, then you're done. And that's what we read. Go back to Revelation chapter 6, verse 5 again.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 5.
Read.
And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, "Come and see." And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand.
And a pair of balances in his hand. We just read a pair of those balances right now. Go ahead.
And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, "A measure of wheat for a penny."
Brothers, you know you can have food, man. Go ahead.
And 3 measures of barley for a penny.
And 3 measures of barley for a penny. Come on.
And see thou had not the oil and the wine.
And see thou had don't have the oil. Don't have the wine too. Don't have the oil. Because oil is the reason why the US dollar was so strong. Because of the oil. And before that, the reason why the US dollar was strong was because of the gold. I'm going to show you that. Now, play that video now. You have it? Oh, please, play the video. Okay, we might need to do the same for the others as well, right?
Okay, sir.
Okay, play that video. Let's play the video now. So we have a full understanding of what we read here. Okay? Okay, full screen.
If you're
Yeah, play.
Confused by the difference between the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, and the World Bank? Well, you're not the only one. Famed economist John Maynard Keynes, who was a founding father of both institutions, said that he was confused just by their names. The IMF and the World Bank are closely linked. So close that their headquarters are across the street from each other here in Washington.
So the IMF, which is the International Monetary Fund, and then you've got the World Bank. So they are in Washington. They are headquartered across the street from each other. Okay.
So what's the difference between them?
So she's going to begin to explain to us the difference between the IMF and the World Bank. Okay, pay close attention. Play on.
It all started at this hotel in New Hampshire in July 1944, where 44 countries gathered for the Bretton Woods Conference. The goal of the
So the IMF and the World Bank were formed out of the Bretton Woods Conference. Now pause this, go to the video that goes into the Bretton Woods system. What is the Bretton Woods? Okay. There's a video that I sent. I think there's another one that I sent you. Yeah, I think this is the one. Let me see. Yes. Now, yeah, that's the one. I want you to understand what is the Bretton Woods system. Because they had a Bretton Woods conference which gave birth to the World Bank and the IMF. Because when he says he had a pair of balances in his head, is mainly going into what? Economic exploitation using these institutions. World Bank, the World Trade Organization, and the IMF. Now play them. Yeah, play that video.
What is Bretton Woods and why is it important? 1971 was a year to remember. The year was marked by significant events that changed the world, such as 1. The return of the Apollo 14, the first crewed mission to land in the lunar highlands. 2. Imagine by John Lennon was released. 3. The Nasdaq Stock Exchange was founded. 4. And most importantly, the US shocked the world leaving the gold standard and the Bretton Woods agreements in what was called the Nixon shock, changing the world forever. In this video, we'll answer 4 questions. What was Bretton Woods? Why was it so important? What made the US leave the Bretton Woods system in 1971? And how did Bretton Woods cement the US dollar as the world reserve currency? To answer the first question, we must know what the gold standard is. The gold.
So this conference basically does the secret plot. This conference right here, this is the evil instruments against the poor. Okay, play on.
Gold standard is a monetary system where a country's currency has a value directly linked to gold. With the gold standard, countries agreed to convert paper money into a fixed amount of gold. In practice, the central bank agrees to buy and sell gold to anyone at a fixed price. This means that a country cannot print more money without having more gold first.
So you see that video we watched? So now the value of the dollar, of the currency, was directly linked to the gold. Meaning what? The actual mineral. Go ahead.
Secondly, we need to search for our history book and make a stop at the end of World War II, when the Bretton Woods Agreement took place, and we need to know some details to understand this agreement. 1. Before the US entered World War II, they served as a supplier of weapons and other goods to the Allies, who paid them in gold. This call...
Now, go back a little bit. I want you to see something. Don't be asleep. So, guess what? World War II, before the US entered World War II, they were selling weapons to Europe, because this is Europe, what you're seeing on the screen here. You see where the gold is sitting? That's Europe, right? Yes, hold on, that's Europe, right? Yes, sir. Now, pay close attention. I want to show you something. Now, go back a little bit. Play the video again.
1. Before the US entered World War II, they served as a supplier of weapons and other goods to the Allies, who paid them in gold. This caused...
So now you have the US selling weapons to Europe, and Europe is buying weapons from America in gold. So let's think now. Let's think. Give the book of Revelation 17 verse 8. I'm going to show you something. Because it doesn't connect. How the hell did Europe get access to so much gold? Where did they get it from? Read that, what you call.
The book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 8.
Read.
The beast that thou sawest was.
The beast that thou sawest was, go ahead.
And is not.
Was in your vision and is not in rulership as yet. Go ahead.
And shall ascend out of the bottomless pit.
The bottomless pit is Europe. Why is it called the bottomless pit? Because there's no minerals over there. So where did Europe get access to all this? Where did they get access to all this gold? Where did they get it from? I need you men to think now. Remember, World War II was what year? 1945, right?
Yes, sir.
This is the 1900s.
Yes, sir.
This is the 20th century, right? 1900s. Okay? No, yeah, 19. Now, keep reading.
The beast that thou sawest was, and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit.
And shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. Because in Europe is a bottomless pit. There's no minerals in Europe. So where did Europe get all this gold from? Where did they get it from? I wonder. Give me Deuteronomy 28 verse 33. I'm going to show you something, man. Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 33. Okay, pay close attention.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 33.
Watch this.
The fruit of thy land.
The fruit of our land. What is the fruit of our land? The gold, the diamond, the platinum, the uranium, the diamonds. You understand? Read.
And all thy labor.
And all our labors.
Shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up.
The Lord is telling us that another nation will come and eat up the fruit of our land. The black horse. Because we are the represent the black horse. And somebody's going to sit on top of this black horse and they're going to have a pair of balances in their hand. The reason why they will have the control and full dominion over the flow of money is because they will have access to the resources of the land. They'll have access to the fruit of the land. Read.
And thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always.
How are they going to oppress and crush us? Because that's the Dutch, the French, the British, the Portuguese, the Europeans. They will have access to the fruit of our lands. And they're going to oppress us because they're going to take and steal the raw materials from the continent and take them to their country to manufacture and to enrich themselves. You understand? 2nd Ezra chapter 16 verse 46. 2nd Ezra 16 verse 46. Watch this.
Second book of Ezra, chapter 16, verse 46.
Read.
For strangers shall reap their fruit.
It says the strangers are going to reap our fruit. Who are the strangers? The Europeans. Okay, go ahead.
And spoil their goods.
They're going to spoil our goods. Read.
Overthrow their houses.
They overthrew our houses. That's why they put us on reservations. Battle stands. Read.
And take their children captive.
They enslaved our children to work in these mines, to work in these sugarcane plantations. Read.
For in captivity.
For in slavery
and famine
and poverty
shall they get children.
That's what is happening to us right now. Go ahead.
And they that occupy their merchandise.
And because the same strangers, they will occupy our merchandise in their countries. That's why Europe has access. That's why Europe was able to buy weapons from America using gold. Where did they get the gold from? They got it from the continent. You know when they got it? In 1884, during the Berlin Conference. During the Berlin Conference, that's where they got access to that gold. Read. Because you have 13 European nations during the Berlin Conference under Otto von Bismarck. They are the ones that sat down and dictated how they're going to exploit us. Because the reason why they set up the Berlin Conference was to manage the chaos of the looting amongst themselves. Because before that, they were looting left, right, and center. There was no order. That's why the Berlin Conference was set up, for them to loot in order. Really?
with robbery.
With robbery. They robbed us. Read.
The more they deck their cities.
Because they decorate their cities and their own peasants. They were our what? Our jewelry and all that. Read.
Their houses.
Their houses.
Their possessions.
Their possessions.
And their own peasants.
And their own peasants. That's why the Queen of England had the biggest diamond on her crown. Where did she get it from? Cullinan Mines, Pretoria. Read.
The more will I be angry with them for their sin, saith the Lord.
You see that? Now, give me the book of Daniel. I'm not done. I am not done. Give me the book of Daniel, or give me Revelation 18, verse 11. Before we go to the book of Daniel, I'm going to show you the merchandise that they have now looted and have access to, which are those raw materials. Okay? Revelation 18, verse 11.
The book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 11.
Read.
And the merchants of the earth.
The merchants of the earth that have a pair of balances in their hand. These are merchants. Read.
Shall weep and mourn over her. For no man buyeth their merchandise anymore.
Because is this their merchandise? No, they stole it. They stole it from the continent. Read.
The merchandise of gold.
Stop. That's what we just saw in the video. The merchandise of gold. So Europe being a bottomless pit, there is no resources down there. Where did they get this amount of gold? They got it from the continent. You understand? Following the Berlin Conference of 1884. That's why they were able to have access to so much gold to buy weaponry, you understand, during World War II. Read.
The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and of fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all fine wood and all manner vessels of ivory and all manner vessels of most precious wood and of brass and iron and marble.
Now, go ahead.
And cinnamon and odors and ointment.
That goes into spices and ointments and all that. Read.
And frankincense and wine.
Remember it says, see that thou had not the oil and the wine. Go ahead.
And wine.
You see oil and wine. Read.
And oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep.
You remember a wheat. He says 3 measures of wheat for a penny. Read.
And horses and chariots and slaves.
And what?
And slaves.
And slaves. Go ahead.
And souls of men.
And souls of men, meaning the minds of the people. It's not just the people that they enslaved, they also enslaved the minds of the people too. Now give me the book of Daniel, okay? I'm not going to let this man go. No, I'm not letting him go. No, I'm going to twist the knife on this one, okay? Give me the book of Daniel now. Give me Daniel chapter 11, verse 23. Watch this. I'm going to show you that the League of Nations is written in this Bible. Read what you got.
The book of Daniel, chapter 11, verse 23.
Read.
And after the league made with him.
The league that he made, that's the Berlin Conference of 1884. Go ahead.
He shall work deceit.
If they're going to work deceitfully because they have a pile of balances in their hand. Read.
For he shall come up and shall become strong with the small people.
Because they only came with the strong people when they came to conquer us and to steal our resources. Read.
He shall enter peaceably, even upon the fattest places of the province.
The fattest places of the provinces is the continent of Africa, because where they come from is a bottomless pit. There's no resources over there. But when he says he shall enter peaceably, they came with treaties, they came with policies, not only that, but they came with the cross. Read. The missionaries, they call them. Go ahead.
And he shall do that which his fathers have not done.
Because his fathers have not gotten to this level that they have done, the children. But what they've done worse, they've done more than their forefathers ever did. Read.
For his fathers' fathers, he shall scatter among them the prey.
Because they scattered us among all nations. Read.
And spoil and riches.
You see that they scattered us, they spoiled us, and they took our riches. Come on.
Yea. And he shall focus his devices against the stronghold, even for a time.
You see, the stronghold is the Bible. Understand that. Read verse 27 now. Watch this.
Verse 27.
Read.
And both these kings,
the 13 European nations in these last days, 1884, the Berlin Conference, come on,
shall be to do mischief.
They shall be to do mischief. Because what's the mischief? Because by peace shall destroy many. Read.
And they shall speak lies at one table.
That's the Berlin Conference. They spoke lies at one table, how to overthrow and destroy us. Those instruments, the evil instruments which of their shell are evil. Go ahead.
But it shall not prosper. But yet the end shall be at the time appointed.
Because the time is coming for them to be overthrown forever. Next verse, right?
Then shall he return into his land with great riches.
That's why Europe was able to buy weapons from America for World War II. Why? Because he was able to return back to Europe and use the gold they stole from here to buy weapons from America for World War II. That's what this, you're not going to learn this in school. Read on.
And his heart shall be against the Holy Covenant.
They are against the Holy Covenant. They are against the Bible. Read.
And he shall do exploits.
They're going to exploit us. Read.
And return to his own land.
And they returned to his own land. They went back to Europe. So those 13 European nations, that's why it says he shall return to his own land with great riches. That's why they use those riches to buy weapons from America for World War II. That's what you need to understand. Now go back to the video now. We're a new breed of black men. You're not going to have one upon us. Okay? Read what you got. Play the video. Go back a little bit. So now we can better understand this video now. Okay? No, it's not this one. The Bretton Woods system. Yes, this one. Go back a little bit. Play.
History book and make a stop at the end of World War II, when the Bretton Woods Agreement took place, and we need to know some details to understand this agreement. 1. Before the US entered World War II, they served as a supplier of weapons and other goods to the Allies, who paid them in gold.
Their allies is Europe. Who paid them in what? Play on.
Agreement. 1. Before the US entered World War II, they served as a supplier of weapons and other goods to the Allies, who paid them in gold. This caused the US to become the owner of most of the gold in the world by the end of the war.
You cannot make this up. You can't make this up. So the US became the owner of the world's gold during this time. That gave them open. That's why it says they support the whole. And that's how they support the whole. With the gold they stole from us. And they give them to the Americans. To the Americans, they are allies. Read on.
This made a return to the gold standard impossible for many countries, who had spent all their gold reserves buying American weapons. 2. The Allies needed to create a new system that would be acceptable to all countries. So delegates from 44 Allied nations met at a conference in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, in the United States. Its purpose was to establish a new international economic order after the end of World War II.
You see, did you just hear what they just said? Go back a little bit. Go back. Play.
To all countries. So delegates from 44 Allied nations met at a conference in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, in the United States. Its purpose was to establish a new international economic order after the end.
A new international economic order. That's the pair of balances in their head to control the flow of money. They control the flow of money. That's why I need you men to understand what's taking place here. Read on.
End of World War II. The result of the conference was the creation of two new international institutions, the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, and the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, or IBRD, which is now part of the World Bank Group.
So this conference gave birth to the World Bank and the IMF. Okay, read.
Under this system, gold was the basis for the US dollar, and other currencies were pegged to the US dollar's value. This means that the value of a currency of a country is linked to the US dollar instead of gold. Countries had some degree of control over currencies in situations where the values of their own currencies became too weak or too strong relative to the dollar. They could buy or sell their currency to regulate the money supply. In the conference, among the main goals were as follows: creating an efficient foreign exchange system, preventing competitive devaluations of currencies, and promoting international economic growth. It wasn't until 1958 that the Bretton Woods system became fully functional. Once implemented, its provisions called for the US dollar to be pegged to the value of gold. Moreover, all other currencies in the system were then pegged to the US dollar's value. The exchange rate applied at the time set the price of gold at $35 an ounce. The Bretton Woods system included 44 countries. These countries were brought together to help regulate and promote international trade across borders.
You see that? To control and regulate international trade. That means this man, he's got now full control of the economy of the world now. That's why when the Saudi Arabia, they say, no, they said, listen, we are the leaders of OPEC. And when you tied the value of your dollar to our gold, to our oil, so we're going to price you out of the market. That's why America got mad, they got upset. They said, no, Saudi Arabia, the prince, is mad, he's not dealing right. But they were not dealing right. Because they were forcing Saudi Arabia to what? To regulate their currency against the US dollar. But using their oil. Because America don't own no oil. That's why they went to Iraq and Afghanistan to take the oil. They said, no, so Saddam had weapons of mass destruction. They found none. It was all a coup. It was all a smokescreen. It was all a lie. And these news media don't report that. You understand? Play on.
As with the benefits of all currency pegging regimes, currency pegs are expected to provide currency stabilization for trade of goods and services, as well as financing. Thanks to Bretton Woods, the US dollar was officially crowned the world's reserve currency and was backed.
You see that? So because of the Bretton Woods system, the US dollar now was termed as the world currency. Meaning all the other currencies of the world, they are garbage. Your money is no good. That's why you come to South Africa with the dollar, your money is more. You leave the South Africa with the South African rent, you go to the US, your rent is no good. But we own the resources. We have the gold here. That's why it's called Gauteng, the place of gold. But your currency is no good in the US because when you go there, it becomes less. When the US dollar comes in, it becomes more. What gives it the value? Our resources does that. Really? Does it in God we trust? It's not the Most High. Because we read here, it says, he shall go against the Holy Covenant. So it's not the Most High God is making reference to here. Go ahead.
Backed by the world's largest gold reserves. Instead of gold reserves, other countries accumulated reserves of US dollars. The demand for US Treasury securities was high since countries considered them to be a safe way to store their US dollars. This gave
keep playing.
Since countries considered them to be a safe way to store their US dollars. This gave the American government an unparalleled ability to borrow money and fund budget deficits. But even this had its limits. In the 1960s...
That's it. Now, this is the 60s. Man. The 60s where Israel now is waking up. Keep playing. Watch this.
The US government's finances came under stress due to increased spending on social programs as well as the Vietnam War.
Pause. You see, it says their currency became under stress when they spent a lot of money on social programs. During the 60s, what social programs did they spend money on? When they put drugs in the community, that's the social programs. You understand? That's what they're talking about. Jim Crow, that's the social programs. You understand? Apartheid here in South Africa, that's the social programs. When they were shutting down black consciousness movements, you understand? Our forefathers waking up, who Chris Hani, who Steve Biko, who Malcolm X on that side, you understand? Who Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana, so on and so forth. Who Thomas Sankara in Burkina Faso, who Patrice Lumumba in the Congo. That's the money they spend on those social programs to bring drugs in our community, to enslave us mentally, spiritually, and physically. That's what they was doing. That's why they spend a lot of money on that, because they knew it's time for these people to wake up. Go ahead.
This caused the United States to print more dollars to cover the deficit caused by these events. With so many dollars flooding the market and the same amount of gold available, concern grew in the international community. Other countries could not see.
You see that? Meaning there was more money in the market, but there was not enough gold to back it up to give it the value that it's supposed to have. Which is why eventually they cut out the gold. They started to print money out of nothing to give it value that they decided. Because that's what's happening now. What's happening, the dollar is no longer backed by the gold anymore. That's why now on the dollar is written legal tender. Meaning it's worthless paper. You understand? So that's why they were relying on the oil of Saudi to give the dollar the power that it had, because it relied on the oil. But when the Saudis are like, listen, we're going to price you out because we are the leaders of OPEC. You don't produce no gold, no oil. You see that? Now, see this video now. Go back to the first one. I just wanted you to see what is the Bretton Woods system. Okay? Was basically to regulate international trade. You understand? At a fixed rate backed by the gold which they stole from us.
It all started at this hotel in New Hampshire in July 1944, where 44 countries gathered for the Bretton Woods Conference. The goal of the conference was to agree on a new framework for the international monetary system, which is the rules and institutions that keep the global economy running smoothly. After World War II, most people agreed that the old system had failed. It had seen the Great Depression, unfair trade policies, and unstable currencies. After 3 weeks of heated negotiations at Bretton Woods, especially between Keynes, who was representing the United Kingdom, and Harry Dexter White, the U.S. Treasury representative.
You see, the only people that were important in that conference was the EU and America. That's it. That's what Ezra was talking about. Go back to 2 Ezra 12, verse 29.
Second book of Ezra, chapter 12, verse 29.
Read.
And whereas thou sowest two feathers.
The two feathers is the EU and America. Read.
Under the winds passing over the head that is on the right side.
Read.
It signifies that these are they.
That these are they, come on.
Whom the highest has kept unto their end.
Whom the highest has kept unto their end. That's the EU and America. Go ahead.
This is the small kingdom.
This is the small kingdom because it came out of Britain in 1776. Go ahead.
And full of trouble.
Read on.
As thou sowest.
As thou sowest in your vision. Now go back to the video.
A deal was reached. The agreement created the IMF and the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, soon to be known as the World Bank. Each institution was given a distinct role. The IMF's job was to oversee a system of fixed exchange rates, which tied...
So the job of the IMF is to oversee the system of fixed exchange rates, meaning they dictate the value of your currency. That's the job of the IMF. So guess what? The IMF is still pushing the Bretton Woods system anyway. Because they dictate the value of your currency, and they don't have to use any minerals to value your currency. They decide it. They're the one that say, no, your value is worth this much. Based on what? Your currency is based this much. If that's the value of your currency, what are you basing this on? No, because we the owners of the world. That's it, because we white. Keep going.
The value of a country's currency to the US dollar, which was pegged to gold.
Go back a little bit. Pause. Okay, play.
The agreement created the IMF and the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, soon to be known as the World Bank. Each institution was given a distinct role. The IMF's job was to oversee a system of fixed exchange rates, which tied the value of a country's currency to the US dollar.
Pause. You see what the job of the IMF is? This is the IMF, right? Is to determine the fixed exchange rates and to link all the world's currency to the US dollar. So meaning your value, the value of your currency is dictated by the US dollar. And who dictated? The IMF. Where did we just read that? Revelation 6 and 5. Because I know some of you forgot the point already. Let's read the verse.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 5.
Read.
And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand.
That's the IMF. They have a pair of balances in their hand. They control the value of your currency. They dictate that. Go ahead, play the video.
Which was pegged to gold. The main purpose of this was to make sure exchange rates stayed stable, to encourage global trade. The IMF...
So, the exchange, are they stable? No, they're not stable. The reason why now the exchange rates are unstable is because the other nations have started to realize, oh, wait a minute, we are not going to back up the US dollar no more. So that's why now the US dollar is becoming unstable now. Keep playing.
was also tasked with providing short-term loans to countries struggling to pay their debts. Meanwhile, the main goal of the World Bank was to give financial assistance to countries, mainly in Europe, that needed to...
See the job of the World Bank? The job of the World Bank is to service those 44 countries that were part of the Bretton Woods system. That's the job of the World Bank. The IMF, on the other hand, is to fund the countries in Africa. That's the job of the IMF, to keep us in debt. The World Bank is to service Europe. The IMF is to enslave us through debt. That's why the video that we watched of that Persian woman that was broadcasting, she said, now Africa is caught under a debt trap. That's the job of the IMF. Play on.
To rebuild after the war. The roles of both the IMF and the World Bank have changed a lot since the days of Bretton Woods. President Nixon unpegged the US dollar from gold in 1971, essentially dissolving the fixed exchange rate system that the IMF oversaw. Since then, the IMF has taken on a bigger role fighting financial crises around the world. It keeps tabs on the global economy and puts economic policies in place
economy. You know how they do it? They send the economic hitman in every country to monitor what's going on. The economic hitman works with the American companies that are on the ground. Yes, American companies that are on the ground, they are the ones that work together with the economic hitman. That's how the IMF keep tabs on. Remember what happened in South Africa when they said the IMF and the World Bank was saying South Africa's debt is too much. How do they know that? Because they keep tabs on South Africa's spending patterns. They keep tabs on it because they are the ones that give them the budget on how much to spend and where to spend it. Musholozi, on the other hand, he wasn't doing that. Musholozi was spending money on small businesses in South Africa. They realized that means the big corporations, meaning Europe, American companies that are here, they are not going to benefit from the international investments that they're supposed to benefit from because what? Musholozi is channeling money to the small businesses in South Africa to enrich South Africans. So they realize this guy is causing us problems. That's why they say, no, the IMF was getting involved to say, this is madness. That's why Musholozi was pushed out, Ramaphosa was brought in because he's a puppet. So now Ramaphosa, what he's doing, what was his biggest focus on his speeches? He was always focusing on what? International investments, foreign investors. We must attract foreign investors. What about the local business owners? What about them? Because their job is to squash them and destroy their businesses and squander it. So you need to understand how the system is set up. The Bible will open your eyes to see that thing. Keep playing.
In member countries. The World Bank focuses its efforts on development and reducing poverty. It provides funding and resources in projects in some of the poorest countries in the world. Both institutions include 189 member countries, but the IMF has around 2,700 employees, compared to the World Bank staff of 10,000. The IMF is funded mainly by quotas. basically subscription fees from member countries. It receives around $675 billion in quotas, with the US, Japan, China, and Germany contributing the most. The World Bank is financed mostly by issuing bonds to global investors. The group's lending commitments reached nearly $59 billion in fiscal year 2017. The IMF has committed $160 billion under its current lending arrangements. Today, the IMF's biggest borrowers include Greece, Ukraine, Portugal, and Pakistan. The places where the World Bank is running the most projects are in Africa.
I want you to see something. You see what happened over time? They switched the roles of these institutions. Because before, the IMF was responsible for what? Dealing with the poor countries. Now, the World Bank now is dealing with what? The poor countries. Now, the IMF is focusing mainly on Europe. The IMF now, before, the IMF was focusing outside, while the World Bank was dealing with Europe. Then they switched the roles of these institutions. The World Bank now is dealing with Africa, the IMF is dealing with Europe. Go ahead.
Africa and East Asia. One thing the IMF and the World Bank have in common is that they both have some opponents. Critics point to the conditions attached to their loans, saying they don't always address the specific economic issues within a country. The IMF has come under fire for continuing to bail out Greece, even as the country has failed to clean up its finances. Human rights groups have criticized the World Bank for ignoring the environmental and social impacts of some of its projects in countries like Ethiopia or Myanmar. But the IMF and the World Bank say they promote global economic stability. They make countries less vulnerable to crises, promote higher living standards, and provide vital help to countries that need it.
So that's what we read in Revelation 6 verse 5. They have a pair of balances in their hand because they falsify balances by deceit. Because these are merchants. So because you see the way they are broadcasting this, they are not painting these organizations as evil. Because remember, this is Caucasian News Network. Yeah, Caucasian News. Yeah, broadcast, whatever, Caucasian channel. Caucasian News Broadcast Channel. But the CNBC, you see, they're painting, as by the time you finish this video, you will think the IMF and the World Bank are great organizations. Okay, play the next video. We're going deeper into economic exploitation. Okay, now, yes, this one. Pay close attention here. I want you to listen to what this white man is saying. Listen up good, listen good, listen good.
Dr. Howard Nicholas explains why the Western world does everything in its power to ensure sub-Saharan Africa forever stays poor.
Sub-Saharan Africa has been fundamental to the global prosperity of the advanced countries. And Africa had a role to play. It has a role as a raw material producer. We will not allow Sub-Saharan Africa to escape that. Okay, we do everything to keep Sub-Saharan Africa where it is, also impoverished. It's absolutely vital for the prosperity of everyone else. So let's get clear about that. Okay, and this means all the economic structures, all the global institutions, and the economics we teach everyone is all designed to keep Africa exactly where it is. And whether it is Europe or US or now China, it's always the same. We need Africa to be impoverished because we need those raw materials and we need them dirt cheap. Okay, so that's the message. It doesn't mean to say that there's nothing Africans can do. Of course there is. This is what it's about. Because if Africa does do something different, I assure you living standards of all those in Europe and North America and Asia is going to fall. Okay? And that is a big price to pay. I assure you that the West is not going to allow that without a big fight. Okay? So the job of many Western academics is to convince Africans they have to keep doing what they're doing. Okay? And to show them it's your fault that you're poor. It's not our fault. It's your fault that you're poor, you know. So this is what we do in academic institutions. We know the basic forces that have caused this underdevelopment. We know it's colonization. We cannot afford to allow Africa to industrialize and start producing manufactures. Okay, so we will do everything to stop that. And I'm going to show you how we actually block that. We had East Asian rapid industrialization processes. So in the earlier period, we had
brothers and sisters online, just bear with us. We're going to play the video from Spain so you can see what's going on. Okay, come on, IT.
Dr. Howard Nicholas explains why the Western world does everything in its power to ensure sub-Saharan Africa forever stays poor.
Sub-Saharan Africa has been fundamental to the global prosperity of the advanced countries. And Africa had a role to play. It has a role as a raw material producer. We will not allow Sub-Saharan Africa to escape that. Okay, we do everything to keep Sub-Saharan Africa where it is, also impoverished. It's absolutely vital for the prosperity of everyone else. So let's get clear about that. Okay, and this means all the economic structures, all the global institutions, and the economics we teach everyone is all designed to keep Africa exactly where it is. And whether it is Europe or US or now China, it's always the same. We need Africa to be impoverished because we need those raw materials and we need them dirt cheap. Okay, so that's the message. It doesn't mean to say that there's nothing Africans can do. Of course there is. This is what it's about. Because if Africa does do something different, I assure you living standards of all those in Europe and North America and Asia is going to fall. Okay? And that is a big price to pay. I assure you that the West is not going to allow that without a big fight. Okay? So the job of many Western academics is to convince Africans they have to keep doing what they're doing. Okay? And to show them it's your fault that you're poor. It's not our fault. It's your fault that you're poor. You know? So this is what we do in academic institutions. We know the basic forces that have caused this underdevelopment. We know it's colonization. We cannot afford to allow Africa to industrialize and start producing manufactures. Okay, so we will do everything to stop that. And I'm going to show you how we actually block that. We had East Asian rapid industrialization processes. So in the earlier period, we had Japan and Korea and Taiwan. Okay, rapid growth, sucking in raw materials from Africa, driving up the prices. And after those countries finished industrialization, then Sub-Saharan African growth rate again fell. Sub-Saharan Africa is condemned to this role, just the supplier of raw materials, not a manufacturer. The currencies are collapsing of these countries, and many of them are Sub-Saharan African countries. After colonization ended, we needed new structures to keep these countries where they were. Okay? And the first of those is aid. Okay, we give them aid. Aid for what? Actually, we give them aid to keep repressive regimes in power.
You see this? They give them aid to keep repressive regimes in power. So those regimes that are destroying their own people, they give those aid. But they don't really actually give the man that is sitting on top money. No, you know what they do? They give the company that is setting up shop in that country, they give them money to build, to mine the oil, to create jobs, and then they give a little bit to the leader, and he'll be driving around with babies and all that. but the money does not actually benefit the people. No, the money does not go directly to the country. It goes to the company that was set up by the US in that country. And they give the people jobs. That's it. Play on.
That's all. All the hypocrisy about transparency and democracy and bullshit like that, it's all bullshit. But
He's telling you it's all bullshit. Excuse my French. But it's all BS. Really?
it would go to country after country offering loans. And if the president did not accept the loan, they were killed. It's just...
You see how quickly he said, yes, sir. If the president did not accept the aid, they were killed. I'm going to show you this.
It's economics. It's economic warfare.
That's what this is. Economic warfare. You know what Motoku Peko calls it? Economic exploitation. It's the same thing. Play on.
Rich declare war on the poor. It happens everywhere. It happens in a country. The rich control the government. Of course they do. You really believe you have democracy? Come on. Grow up. Who has all the subsidies and income support? US, Europe. The largest budgets in the world for supporting their farmers are Europe and US. You see, we're keeping them dependent. We're keeping them on a string. This next round of the WTO is designed to block that. To block anyone else getting on top of the ladder.
The role of the WTO, because the WTO is another entity that has been set up now in addition to the World Bank and the IMF. The WTO is the World Trade Organization. Their job is to make sure that the countries, that they keep the countries at the bottom. The World Bank's job is to fund and in debt. The World Trade Organization is to make sure that who you can trade with and who you cannot trade with. The World Bank dictates, okay, we give you this loan for this much, this is how much you're gonna pay back. But the way you pay back, not only do you pay back in the cheap raw materials, but you still must pay us back with our money. We want our money back, but we still want the raw materials. The IMF, on the other hand, dictate the what? The interest rate between currencies. That's what they do. Understand what's going on, brothers? Okay, play the next video. That's not the one. Let me see. No, the Bretton Woods system, we're done with that. No. Zeitgeist. I gave you the timestamps now. Did you download this? I said you must download this one. Okay, while it's downloading it, go back to Revelation 6 and 5.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 5.
Read.
And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand.
He had a pair of balances in his hand. So that Edomite, he's laying it down for you. The people that are in the schools now, in universities, they're not taught this.
Sure.
It's not written in textbooks. You're not going to learn this from a textbook, by the way. No, these are the discussions that they have with their children, and that's where they have what? They have mentors. Those mentors is white only. Those students that are studying economics, they're just not going to tell you the true economics that they are learning from those private tutors. The private tutors teach them the real economics. The dark economics is so that you can get your paper. That's it. But the real economics is what they teach. They are taught by their tutors in private. That's the real economics. You understand? Okay, go ahead.
And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts saying, a measure of wheat for a penny,
really?
And 3 measures of barley for a penny.
Come on.
And see thou had not the oil and the wine.
Don't have the oil and the wine. Go ahead.
And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, come and see.
Now he says, now come and see. After he saw all these false and unjust balances, he says, no, that's not all. Come and see what happens next. Keep going.
And I looked, and behold, a pale horse.
A what?
A pale horse.
A pale horse. Go ahead.
And his name that sat on him was Death.
Was what?
Was Death.
Read.
And hell followed with him.
You see that this is talking about Esau. Death and hell followed with him. Hold that. Give me the book of Isaiah. Okay. Give me Habakkuk. Give me Habakkuk 2. Habakkuk 2, verse 3.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time.
Read.
But at the end it shall speak and not lie.
Read.
Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will surely come. It will not tarry.
It will not tarry. Meaning the vision that I'm showing you is going to take place. That's what he's saying. Go ahead.
Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him.
Talk about Esau. His soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. Give me Habakkuk 1 verse 6 so we saw who he's making reference to. Habakkuk 1 and 206. Remember we're in Habakkuk 2.
Yes, sir.
So go to Habakkuk, the chapter before.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 1 verse 6. For lo, I raise up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation.
I know the Lord is going to set in now. Go ahead. Listen. Yes, the Lord is going to set in. Brothers and sisters, we're going to be load shedded in 15 minutes. So therefore, the class that I planned for later, I'm going to do part 3 of this class later. At 7 o'clock, at 5 o'clock, Lord's will. I have to continue this. Okay, go ahead.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 1, verse 6.
Read.
For lo, I raise up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation.
The Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation. Pause. Give me Isaiah 18, verse 19. I'm going to show who these Chaldeans are. That bitter and hasty nation. Remember where the bitterness come from. If you remember the previous classes that we went over, Esau cried with an exceeding bitter cry. Yes. Read that.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 18, verse 19.
Read.
And Babylon.
And what?
And Babylon.
And Babylon. This is Babylon the Great. Go ahead.
The glory of kingdom.
The glory of kingdom. Come on.
The beauty of the Chaldees' excellency.
The beauty of the Chaldees' excellency. Come on.
Shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah.
Because guess what? The ancient Babylon was not overthrown like Sodom and Gomorrah. So he's not talking about ancient Babylon yet. He's talking about Babylon the Great, the United States of America. Okay, so the Chaldeans in Habakkuk is talking about who? Babylon the Great. Go back to Habakkuk 1 verse 6.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 1 verse 6.
Read.
For lo, I raise up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation.
They are bitter and hasty. But the question is, why are they hasty? Because they know they have but a short time. Keep going.
Which shall march through the breadth of the land.
They will march through the breadth of the land. That's what we showed you in the book of Motoko Peko. That's what we showed you with all the videos that you see. Go ahead.
To possess the dwelling places that are not theirs.
To own the land that is not theirs. And how much land? 87% of the land here in Mzansi for sure. Go ahead.
Their horses also are swifter.
No. Verse 7.
What did you say? The book of Habakkuk, chapter 1, verse 7. They are terrible and dreadful. Their judgment and their dignity shall proceed of themselves.
Because they have no moral standards. Go back to Habakkuk 2 now. Read verse 3 again. No, verse 4.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 4.
Read.
Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him.
That's talking about Esau, Babylon the Great. His soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. Because something ain't right with him. Go ahead.
But the just shall live by his faith.
But we are the just. We will live by the faith of the Lord. Come on.
Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine.
By lies, vain deceit. Go ahead.
He is a proud man.
They are proud. This is the proudest nation on earth. Read.
Neither keepeth at home.
They are in everybody's land. They don't keep it home. That's why America has military bases across the planet Earth. Read.
Who enlargeth his desire as hell.
They enlarge their desire as hell. Meaning their desire leaves the people in a hellish state. That's what we just read in Revelation 6. Read.
And is as dead.
And is as dead. Their desire leaves the people in a hellish state and they leave the people dead poor. Read.
And cannot be satisfied.
They are not satisfied because this white man is greedy. Go ahead.
but gathereth unto him all nations.
But they gather unto them all nations. That's why it says, the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. Read.
And heapeth unto him all people.
And heapeth unto him all people that they robbed, they murdered, they raped, they stole everything from them. Read. Come on, verse 6.
Shall not all these make up a parable against him?
Shall not all these take up a parable against him? Meaning all these nations that is heaped up because he robbed them, they're going to take up a parable against this white man. Meaning they're going to turn on him. Read.
And a taunting proverb against him.
Go ahead.
And say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his.
Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. Because guess what? The same way you saw Europe having that amount of gold, that's not theirs. And they gave it to their brothers in the Americas. Read.
How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay.
Because they covered themselves with thick clay, meaning what? Nobody gonna figure out we are the ones that are causing all manner of chaos upon this earth. But the elect will not be deceived. That's what you need to understand. Okay? Read.
Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee?
Shall not they rise up suddenly and bite thee? That's what happened in 9/11. Read.
And a wave that shall vex thee.
They're gonna vex thee, so come on.
And thou shalt be for booties unto them.
Because guess what? They're gonna take everything they stole from them. That's what you need to understand. Go back to Revelation 6 now. Revelation 6. Read verse 8.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 8.
Come on.
And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was dead.
And his name is that sat on him was dead. Come on.
And hell followed with him.
And hell followed with him. Death and hell. So wherever the white man goes, death and hell follows after him. Now, I want you, hold on, pay attention. Come on. There's a video that I want you to play. Not that Zeitgeist one. But the one I want you to play is the one that of that black man. Play that because it goes into what we did. Yeah, this one right here. Because guess what? Death and hell follows with him. Wherever this white man goes, he's like a virus. He destroys everything. Whatever he touches turns to ash. Now play the video.
Contribute, say something. Contribute, say something.
You want me to say something? Fine. I'll say something.
There's a heavy video right here. Okay? Play.
Contribute, say something.
You want me to say something? Fine. I'll say something. You people. You're not a race. You are a virus. You destroy the world. Everything beautiful you poison. You drag us from our homes. You rape our daughters, murder our sons. You crack our spines and do all you can to break our will. You stab us. Then you put the knife in our hand and tell us it's our fault. And if you don't do it yourself, you stand by, close your eyes, and pretend there's nothing wrong. And then you pray to your God to silence our screams so that you can enjoy the happiness that we built for you with our blood. But it's not your fault. It's the only way you know how to be. And the only thing that will change anything is if another virus comes along and does to you what you do to us. And I hope that happens very soon.
Well, this evening obviously hasn't gone as I'd hoped. And I think I'm having a full-on panic attack right now, so I'm gonna go to the bathroom and get myself together, and when I come back, I hope you don't see me as the devil.
You see, they know it. They know what they are. The devil. They know that they are the devil the Bible speaks of. Because everything that the brother said, he didn't mention he didn't mention the word devil. But he mentions it. Because they know what they are. They are the devil the Bible speaks of. Now read Revelation 6 verse 8 again.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him.
Okay, that's it on that video now. Go ahead.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 8.
Read.
And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death.
Was what?
Was Death.
Death.
And hell followed with him.
Because that's why the brother said they are like a virus. Everything beautiful they touch, it turns to ish. Read.
And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth.
You see, the power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth. The fourth kingdom on the fourth part of the earth. The Americas. Read.
To kill with sword.
To do what?
To kill with sword.
To kill with sword, that's war.
And with hunger.
And with famine.
And with death.
And with death. Read.
And with the beast of the earth.
The beast of that's zoonosis. That's what we were going over with South Africa's chemical and biological warfare program. Okay? Is that it on that?
Yes, sir.
Oh, praise to the Most High. Oh, praise to the Lord. So go back to Revelation now. Okay, Revelation chapter 16, verse 13. We're going to take the power now in a minute.
The book of Revelation, chapter 16, verse 18.
Go ahead.
And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon.
Read.
And out of the mouth of the beast.
Is it out of the mouth of the dragon? That's politics. Out of the mouth of the beast? That's economic exploitation. Go ahead.
And out of the mouth of the false prophet.
So guess what? I'm gonna end the class right here. Okay? I'm gonna end the class right here. I'm gonna continue to deal with the economic exploitation. I'm gonna deal with the mouth. I'm gonna deal with the false prophet later on at 5 p.m. Lord's will. But guess what? I'm not done with the economic exploitation yet. There's still a lot I want to cover. Okay? Okay. Now, so let's break bread. Let's break bread, okay, in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus the Christ, okay? Because even if we do have other devices to power, the network is very terrible when the power is gone, okay? Yeah, let's break bread. We ready?
Yes, sir. For I have received of the Lord that which also I delivered unto you, that the Lord Jesus, the same night in which he was betrayed, took bread. And when he had given thanks, he broke it and said, Take, eat, this is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. After the same manner also he took the cup, when he had supped, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye as often as ye drink it, in remembrance of me. For as often as ye eat this bread and drink this cup, ye do show the Lord's death till he come. Wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord and with it, shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Lord. But let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily, eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. For this cause many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep.
In the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen. Let's give the Lord a hand. Praise the Lord. Okay, all praise to the Most High. Brothers and sisters, we'll see you in a couple of subjects, okay? Stay in the spirit, all praise to the Lord, and shalom to you all. All praise.